Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 228 of Beer and Other Shit, the podcast Adjunct series. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know when the last time it is that we have spoken to a brewery in this probably one of my favorite places on the planet Earth. We're going to Vermont tonight, guys. And as y'all know, if you've been listening or watching the pod for a long time, I lived in Montreal for 10 years. So we went to Vermont every few months. It's one of the most sort of stunning, magical places that I've ever been. It's just beautiful, whatever season you're in, unless you get caught in a snowstorm on the freeway and you nearly die. That's rough, but that happens. The people are the salt of the earth. The food is absolutely spectacular. Like it's so good. I will talk anyone's ear off about Vermont whenever I get an opportunity. And it's even cooler for me because I haven't been there as much over the last few years since we've been in Ontario. To find out what's going on in Vermont and to keep tapped in is a little difficult. But huge shouts to my friend Skylar, who put me onto this brewery that we're speaking to tonight. He brought me back a couple of different beers from his trip in, I want to say, October in 2025, and I was so impressed, and I reached out and was kind enough to join us for a pod tonight. So I'm super stoked. I don't know, it feels like coming home to me. I love Vermont so much, I can't express it. So I'm super excited to get the story and to get into these goddamn beers. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, here, I'm going to get this all ready. There we go. Please welcome Jonathan from Soulmate in the building. There he is. Sir. Welcome, brother. Thanks so much for hanging. Whoops, press that twice. Thank you. Oh, start it again. See, they can't help it. They love Soulmate over here.
Soulmate's in the house.
That could be the episode name, dude. So great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out, man. It's an honor. Appreciate you.
No, it's an honor to be on your show. Appreciate you guys reaching out. It's the craft beer world is such a great community, and friends connected us, so that's a beautiful thing.
It really is. And there's such, as I was sort of saying, I feel like there's like a bond between Canadians and Vermont. I just feel like it's like when I always felt like I wish Vermont would succeed into Canada so we didn't have the border limits to bring stuff back. It would just, I feel like we're the closest, like all the border states actually, like I feel like we're all so similar because climate, culture is pretty close, and Vermont more so than anywhere else that I've been. I feel like it's just, people, we really resonate with it. And I learned a lot about like farm to table type of stuff from Vermont, and it's that ethos is carried with me since I first went there. So it's a beautiful place to be, man. Where are you guys based, by the way?
So my wife and I and Soulmate, we live in Stowe, and our brewery is in Morrisville, so next town north from Stowe.
North of Stowe. Okay. Have I been to Morrisville? I don't know if I have. I've been to Stowe a bunch, but Morrisville, I'm not entirely sure.
Morrisville's a great town. It's, you're right outside of the touristy area. You still get views of the mountains, but it's more like the blue collar working town.
Gotcha. I'm just looking at the map here where, okay, like a chunk north of it, like a decent.
Yeah, not far. It takes us about 15, 18 minutes from our house to get to the brewery.
Okay, that's not so. Oh, it's like a straight bang east of Burlington.
Yeah,
like right through.
Yeah, right up 89, and then get off at exit 10, and 25 minutes, you're at the brewery.
She's good to go. Beautiful. I love it, bro.
And it's funny you mentioned about not having borders. So we're friends with different breweries right across the border in Canada, and we've chatted with them about doing some collaborations.
Hell yeah.
And so my truck obviously says Soulmate, and we were bringing some beer up for them to taste because we've tasted theirs. So I pack a cooler, 2 4-packs of mix, so 8 different beers. Go up to the border, and we were chatting with the folks, the Canadian Border Patrol, and they're like, "Oh, Soulmate Brewing. What brings you to Canada?" And I was like, "Well, we're going to meet with some friends at a brewery." "Oh, are you going to do a collaboration?" "That's exactly why we're coming here." "So you have beer in your vehicle?" I said, "Well, not to sell. We have 8 beers." "All right. You need to pull over there and get out of the vehicle and step on the sidewalk."
Really?
They had me and my wife there at the border for an hour. I open up they're like, "Oh, is anything in the back?" Because we have a cap on the back. And I'm like, "Oh, you can open it. It's not locked." They look in there. They're going under the seats. I'm like, it's just It's just 8 beers. Like, it's not an international incident. We declared them.
I'm sorry on behalf of my country.
No, it's funny because our brewer, so my wife and I, we love Canada. We love if we can get up to old Quebec City, and just take the extra drive to, if we have time with the brewer. We don't have that much time, so it's usually go to Montreal or hit some of the breweries right across the border, and that's just a quick trip. And so our brewer was not going to stay the night. We were going up. He was going to meet their brewers. We already met them for another trip because we like to actually fly out of Montreal, better flights usually than Burlington. I've heard, yeah. And so very familiar with getting around in Montreal. And so first time we ever been asked to get out of the car. He's in a different car because he was going back that night. I'm like, no, we're going to be tasting their beers. They're tasting our beers. We're going to have dinner with them. We're going to spend the night. And he's like, no, I'll go up and then we're going to come back. So he sees us, like I see his car going through he keeps driving. And I was like, but we're sitting there like, we may have texting him, like we may be a little late to the appointment.
Oh my God. Did they say why they went to that level of drama over 8 beers?
No. Not at all. And literally opened up the back, the truck's 4 doors. I opened up the back. I said, the cooler's right there. I pointed to it. I didn't want to, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to reach in. I'm like, if you want to, there's the cooler. It's right. Just open up. You see 8 different beers, nothing else. and then they had us wait inside, the office area. There's a lobby. And we were just sitting there and there's nobody there. And there was there's some cubicles and some offices that have doors off to the side. And there was 6 people in there, and after 40 minutes went by, I went up to the desk. I'm like, is everything okay? And seriously, it's just beer. And 10 minutes later, they came out, gave us our passports, and said, "Have a nice day." And then we get to the brewery. They're like, "Never tell them you have beer. Never tell them." I was like,
well, yeah. There's 2 ways about that. Well, yeah, okay. There's a few different secrets. So have you heard of Nexus?
Yes.
So we have Nexus, and there's a private bridge in Niagara Falls, in that area, in Lewiston, actually. But it's the Americans are so nice. Well, what's your nationality? I'm like, well, of course it's Canadian. What's your citizenship? And what are you doing? We're going to Trader Joe's, check out the city. Cool, thanks. It takes 30 seconds, whole thing done. Canadians, they hassle us, but all I found is that from the Nexus side, I used to underestimate a little bit and be vague, but I tried that at Nexus, and they were like, what do you mean I've got some beer? Because I used to say some beer. Then they asked me the question, and they got kind of annoyed. So now I just tell them what I got, and I minimize it by being like, if my girlfriend's always with me, I'm like, we have 9 beers each. and you hold the receipts. If you hold when you're bringing stuff back, but technically though, that doesn't really help what you're describing, because you're just coming over and it's your own beer. So that has never happened. One time in Detroit, and they had fucking AKs and stuff. It was kind of scary, but aside from that, it shouldn't happen too often. So I'm sorry that they did that. That seems a little dramatic.
We go for the Rogers Cup because we like tennis, and like I said, we fly out of Montreal. That was the first time. Right. We usually get more of a questioning coming back to the U.S.
That's how it's supposed to be, because they want to make sure they get all the tax money out of you. So coming into the country, usually they would ask, if I'm bringing beer to the States, I would be like, are they coming back with you? And be like, no, they're gifts for a friend, which is the only reason I would bring beer anyway, which is exactly why you were bringing beer.
Yeah, so I had something. I had a pump. I did have a pump in the back of the truck.
Right.
And the American side was like, did you buy that in Canada? I'm like, that's been in my truck for 2 months. I'm like, do I have to have a receipt for something in the back of my truck? The
other problem is with the Vermont is that I think there's a familiarity with craft beer and the value of it. They know because everyone comes over for that. So they know if you go, I got 10 beers. I'm like, are they craft beers? Are they 650, 750 more? A pint? They know about the size. They know if they're a $30 Imperial Stout, or they know, so they know too much. They can kind of screw you that way, where if you go a different border thing where they're not as clued in, you just get beers. And I've had them be like, I've got, whatever, I say a case of beers, and how much is it worth? 150 is it craft beer? I'm like, yeah. Okay, because they expect you to say $30. They think it's
right.
Bud or whatever. So it's an unfortunate ordeal. So all of that to say, we need to merge. We need to merge.
I'm down.
I figured you would be. So speaking of that, speaking of all these beers, Jonathan, it's time to get started. We have a killer lineup tonight, and we're getting started with this little gem right here. Hilarious name. Whoa. The Jesus Christ. Hang on, I can't read it back to back. Oh, Hefeweizen. Sorry. Yes, we did say that. Has anyone ever given you any grief over the label at all?
Good question. So I name all the beers. I come up with all the art. I have 2 artists that make it look good, but I come up with all the concepts. And so the first 3 weeks we were open, I didn't have art on the walls. Okay. Oh, we're cracking open. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, we're doing it.
We're going for it.
Keep telling the story while we're cracking.
You got to cue me.
I'm sorry, John. My bad.
So I don't want to violate rules of the podcast.
You're doing great. You're doing good.
So
nice.
The backdrop of a lot of these story of the beer labels are I wrote the business plan for the brewery in 2019, and then my wife Carol and we actually got married. So the business plan was written in April, May. We got married in September. Our honeymoon was set for March, and then we were going to work. Right, and then we were going to work on opening up the brewery. We got back, and then obviously COVID hit, and so we still have not had our honeymoon. But
you're owed.
She's owed. Like I owe her like 5, maybe 10 years off of a vacation. So, cheers, brother.
Cheers, legend. Great news.
So,
money
with all the downtime of COVID, we had equipment. Unfortunately, another brewery bought the same exact plant we wanted, but they just couldn't finish their financing. So we had access when nobody was buying any equipment to a really good deal on a 15-barrel unit, but we didn't have the construction ready because you couldn't find plumbers, electricians, carpenters, so the manufacturer held, we gave them a deposit, they held the equipment. In the meantime, for 30 months of delays to get open, I've been sitting on and coming up with these names and writing down. And I must have no exaggeration, 1,000 names.
Oh, wow.
And I would go on Untapped and search and see if any of these names were taken. And so I'm putting them on my list and checking it twice, almost like Santa. And so fast forward 30 months, we get our doors open and we're going from small pilot system to, making larger batches. And I'm like, okay, I need to make labels because we're going to can. And, so my brewer, he has full autonomy over what he wants to do style wise. I mean, I have my requests. I like stouts. I like porters. I like them on nitro, but make whatever you want, man. I mean, we want to have a portfolio of beer that's diversified like the population around the world, right? So the soulmates and the theme of that. And so he tells me he's doing Hefeweizen. So I dive into the history of Hefeweizen and where it came from, the origination. Well, Southern Germany. And Southern Germany is where the beer purity laws were handed down by the king. And the king would tell their subjects that I am your king and your God. So it just seemed fitting to go with Jesus Christ because the kings are mortal human beings like we are. And it's exactly where it is. And the beer purity laws are still in use today, which is pretty, it's incredible. So, just taking a little fun, poking a little fun here at the fact that the kings are not here. For back then. And, well, Jesus, why not? And so to answer your question, have I gotten any grief? So one person. And he emailed me privately and said, I love your brewery. I've been there the first week you opened. The second week I brought family. The third week I brought family and friends. And then you come up with a beer and call it Jesus Christ. This is a family establishment. and I said, it's satire. And I said, I respect your decision, and your opinion. I said, I tell people when you come to the brewery, you're getting beer, but you're getting a comedy show because I'm the one behind the bar and I love to joke. And I said, these beers, they're my personality going into it. I'm like, some people say cheese and rice. Some people say, I'm like, totally. Hey, I'm like, so we're historically accurate with the kings not being here. And and our brewer, oh my gosh, just made an amazing beer.
It's and also to actually confirm what you're saying, I'm checking on, on Untapped, and you guys got the silver for 2025 for the second highest rated Hefeweizen in all of Vermont,
Yeah,
which is
I
that's
am
crazy.
I'm blown away at the
Just
talent.
oh, hang on, there it is.
There it is.
Isn't that crazy?
I'll
That's
drink to
awesome,
that.
man. Hell yeah, honestly, that's phenomenal, dude. Like that's pretty sick. And I feel like Hefeweizens, unfortunately, are in the world of like lagers where they absolutely do not get the props they deserve on Untapped. Like, be like, best Hefeweizen I ever had, 3 type shit. Whereas like hazy IPA at the baseline is getting 4 point something, you know. So it's
Well, and the funny thing about Untapped, we have people come in. I mean, you're coming to Vermont, small state, 3 or 4 breweries within 10 miles of each other.
big time.
Sometimes we're the first brewery they stop at. Sometimes we're the 5th or 6th. So, like, you know, you come in, you're tasting this stuff, and I see them. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm checking this in an Untapped. I'm like, you have no idea what you're tasting at this point. You've been drinking for 6 hours.
I mean, that's a really fair point. And even worse when they're drinking tasters and you're getting like 3 sips of something and they don't really get to sink their teeth into a beer as such.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it is interesting, but you know, I mean, the nice thing about the beer community, people come into a brewery, they're happy to begin with. So sometimes the comments don't line up with the rating they do on Untapped.
I think that's a very fair point. I feel like this topic has come up on damn near every pod for the last 6 months or so. It's coming up more and more because it's affecting for better and for worse, I guess. There's like 2 sides to it. Because this is great now, right? So people are coming in, they're rating this. This is that's no small achievement for a young brewery as well to have. You know, you've been open 2.5 years. You said to have the second highest last year. That's pretty insane. Like and this is not a style I drink very often. This is exceptional. I totally get it. It's so balanced. The wheat and the bready profile is money. I never really liked the banana or the cloves. I always like, and that's why I never liked when breweries typically just did the saison if it wasn't like their thing. But when it's done like this is I feel like this has got to be like you could put this next to any like from Germany. Hefeweizen, like BJCP as fuck, like you were saying. The brewer is the beer judge, which is the BJCP. So then.
Yeah, that's Hideki. I mean, so he knows the styles. He knows what they should look like, taste, the mouthfeel, the ABV, and he's always studying. I mean, he's been taking online advanced courses in beer making. With all this knowledge, he's been taking these other advanced courses over in England, and I mean, it's every day the man is studying more. So it's always learning, and I wish he was here, because I'd love for you to meet him. Maybe you come down to the brewery at some point, but he's definitely a behind the scenes guy.
Totally get it, man. I respect a lot of brewers are, because they're artists, right? They're doing their thing. They're not always the face or the mouthpiece. But do you know much else? I mean, the story of the label, I love that, and I love that you haven't got too much shit for it, because you know you can tell. Like already, you speak to you for 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, okay. Everything's made so much more sense as soon as I met you. I was like, I get it now. I just feel like I could tell your personality was in the brand, because everything felt tongue in cheek. Nothing felt anything other than just, hey man, we're having fun here. It's beer type thing.
That's it. And people, listen, we have adults come in with their kids, and their kids go around taking pictures of all the beer. Like, oh my gosh, I got to share with my friends. I mean, it's you know, we have 80-year-old women come in and take pictures. Like, I got to share this with my daughter. She's got to come in and see when they visit. So it's like,
I love that.
You're in a happy place when you come to us, you know, which is what we were, you know, our whole goal was.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh man, you keep giving me like great episode titles. I love this. So this beer, is there anything that we need to know more about the beer? I mean, I just feel like this to me feels like the perfect on style German style Hefeweizen, with everything sitting just where it needs to be. Like, this is fantastic. It's got to be one of the best Hefeweizens I've had in forever. Phenomenal.
I appreciate that, and I will share that with Hideki before you air the podcast at a future date.
Yes.
You know, it's funny, when we met him, our brewer moved here from Mexico City, so we couldn't actually meet in person. It was just like we're having a chat right now, and I couldn't taste his beers because he couldn't ship us any beers. But in the interview process, I asked him, you know, what's your favorite style of beer to make? And he loves making wheat beers.
Okay.
Then the funny thing is with wheat beers, it's like the least sold style around the world. Like you said, IPAs are big here in New England, even on the West Coast. Lager is still the number one consumed style of beer around the world.
Yep.
But I said, do you enjoy making other things? He goes, oh, I like making everything. It's just you asked me what my favorite is. So I was not surprised when he made a Hefeweizen and we brought home a medal.
Which is great. Have you entered this in any competitions? Well, obviously you didn't enter it in the Untapped thing. That's just based off drinkers' reviews. Have you entered this in any like?
Yeah, so our Hefeweizen has won a bronze and a gold medal. So we did a bronze medal. It's on the label.
Oh, I see.
2024 at the Denver International Beer Competition.
Sick. Is that on? Sorry, is that on the? Is that the one that's a GABF or is that a different one?
No, it's not the Great American Beer. This is the Denver International Beer Competition. Different.
It's a separate thing. Okay.
Separate thing. So we got a bronze in 2024, and then we got a gold medal. Made some tweaks based on the judges' notes, and brought home a gold medal this year with it.
Ooh.
So, Jesus is now golden. And now that you took a few sips, you can travel with Jesus.
He's inside of me. He's with me always.
At least for 90 minutes, and then you're going to recycle him because Jesus is also green these days.
He's very conscious about the environment. He goes hard. Oh, dude, this is awesome. This is fantastic. So I love it. This is, and now one thing I've started asking lately, and I should have been doing this for the last 10 years, but I think it's important if as we're drinking and people are going to hear us rave about the beers and they're going to be like, where can I get it? So I guess the general question for this beer specifically, but kind of everything we're drinking tonight, obviously everything is from the brewery. Are there any distribution points or anything like that where people are able to acquire the beers aside from on location?
That's a great question. So we just got our license to distribute beer in the state of Vermont. So as a brewery in Vermont, you can't own the distribution company. So we had to set up a separate entity, went through the process, licensing, actually signing for the insurances this week. So we should be getting beer flowing into stores and some bars within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, you probably have a very large audience. We would love to get our beer out of the state of Vermont. We'd love to get our beer into Canada. I mean, like you said, friends have brought beer back to you. So anybody listening who's in the distribution side of things and wants to get hold of us, we'd love to chat with you.
There's definitely a bunch of folks that I know dudes in Quebec that I could put you in touch with if they're still in the game. I haven't checked for a bit, but they definitely would. It'd be good for styles like this and for things that aren't the hoppy beers because they have these obscene, we call them they're like a 3-month waiting period where they keep them on a warm warehouse shelf doing nothing while they do government paperwork. So that works for a stout or something like this, but not so much for hoppy beers. But you could, the other place I go, we were talking about the border stuff. I'm about 45-ish minutes from the border here to go into Western New York up to Lewiston, Buffalo. There's a bunch of Vermont stuff up there now, which makes me very happy. Cool. That could be something that Western New York's a pretty big market as well. And because it's far enough away from Vermont, that's a little difficult. I guess it's like 5-6 hours, something like that. That could be something as well. I mean, Canada would be optimal for selfish reasons, but I feel like the Western New York people would really love it because there's a bunch of other ones we can talk even off air. I can tell you the names of who's around. You might already have friends at those breweries, and they might be able to kind of clue you in on how to get out that way because there's a bunch of wicked stores that'd
be wonderful.
Treat beers properly. I got a store. The store I go to, I can connect you directly with the owner. I just don't know what the logistics of that are, if that's helpful, but we can chat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll dive into that.
Hell yeah.
Just spread soulmates everywhere.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. This is phenomenal. So while we're sipping this one, let's get the first part of your story, and then we'll crack the next one for a bit. Or do you want to go to the next one and then do the story? I know because we're moving fast through, but we started this one a little late. We didn't start right at the beginning, did we? We were yapping for a bit.
Yeah, it's good to yap.
Yeah, I want to drink a bit more of it. Let's go into the story. So tell us, John, how did you personally get into craft beer, and then how did that sort of lead up into the brewery opening?
Great question, and thank you for asking. So I moved to Vermont from Florida.
Oh, where in Florida?
Palm Beach.
Fuck yes. There's we used to go down. Well, last year we were there.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that.
Oh, Jesus Christ to that. There's a new reality show on Netflix. It's something ridiculous. They like socialites of Palm Beach. It's sick because they were at like bars that we've been to and stuff down there. It's so cool. So it'd be, I don't know for you if you're from there, but it was nice to see. As I feel like Palm Beach has been in my face in the last like week or two a lot. It's amazing. Fuck, it's the best.
It's definitely a good spot. So getting into beer. So I moved here to Stowe, Vermont, with a woman I was dating, and she was from Fort Lauderdale, and her family had a house here, and it was supposed to go to her, and it didn't. And I picked it up, moved up here, fixed it up. She moves up. A year later, we are no longer an item. Gotcha. And nature of life sometimes. And I'm in Vermont, and I'm going, okay, what's the dating scene like now that I'm single? I'm like, do I stand next to a cow field with a sign that says I'm not hungry, I'm not homeless, but I am single? I'm like, at least in Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale, you got a million bars. You've got, the intercoastal, and so I'm like, well, let's see what the online dating scene is. And so I go to a couple of different websites, and I don't know, I'd say within 6-7 months, I started having email conversations with this amazing woman that just flowed. We went to, you want to have a conversation on a phone, real people, go for that. And it went from that. I mean, talking for hours and hours and hours. And then we met actually, it was funny because I was working, she was working, and I didn't take anything out for dinner. And I get home and we chat in the evening, and I'm like, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm hungry. I don't have everything out. You want to meet me? She's like, when? I said, 30, now. She's like, look, I just got home. Can you give me a moment? So we're literally like a mile, not even a mile and a half from each other. We would have never met if it wasn't for online. Right. So she meets me at this brew pub and walks in, and, it's just instant, this is the amazing woman that I've been chatting with and, speaking with. And so it was just brief. Had to work the next day, and so I had a bite, and that was on a Monday. It was like, I don't have my kids on Friday this weekend, so we ended up getting together and hung out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and been together ever since. So part of the things that we really enjoyed together is checking out new brew pubs and art galleries and things of that nature. And we go to places, and some places you go to and you're like, I can't wait to go back. I had such a great experience. In other places you're like, I don't know how they stay in business. I'm like, and they're packed, and just scratching your head. And, and when we go out, it's all about the people that you meet. And I purchased this building as an investment where the brewery is, way before the brewery. I actually was in the process of closing on it when we met. Okay. When Carol and I met. And I said, we got this building. Why don't we open up our own brewery? We love the experience of meeting people, and why don't we create a space that is welcoming, inviting, and we'll come up with a portfolio of beers that represent cultures from around the world. I spent 6 years in the Navy, and I was stationed in Japan and Italy for Japan for 2 years, Italy for 2.5 years. And just, even if you couldn't speak the language, we had, now you have the smartphones where, translation, but you had little pocket dictionaries and you'd figure it out. But, you usually did it over a beer or cocktail and food. And I said, that's one thing that just brings cultures together. I'm like, so why don't we work on a brewery that does that, brings people together from all walks of life. And then coming up with the name. I mean, when I met Carol, I knew it. Like, I knew she was the one. And even when I met her dad for the first time, it was funny. We met her parents, and I'm like, I'm going to marry your daughter.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, I'm definitely talking.
Hey, Carol.
Yeah. So meeting her dad, I'm like, I'm going to marry this girl. This is happening. And, and sure enough, I mean, so coming up with like the concept for the brewery and then coming up with the name, I wanted, you go to breweries, a lot of breweries named after the towns they're in, and that's fine. But I wanted something that had meaning and substance and would connect with people that, also appreciate craft beer. And I was like, what are the odds of having Soulmate be available? And so I type in, Carol's at work. Carol's an occupational therapist. She works with special needs kids, helps them out. And like, these kids are not in the best place, and she does miracle work with them. And so she's at work and comes home. I was like, oh my gosh, I got the perfect name for the brewery. And she's like, what's that? I said, Soulmate. I mean, I did a search on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. I called we have an intellectual property rights lawyer. I reached out to him. I said, hey, Soulmate. I want to call it Soulmate Brewing Company. And so I said, I don't see anything on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And he's like, oh, let me do some research. I'll get back to you in a couple of days. He's like, yeah, there's nothing. So we went and came up with the concepts, printed up some hats, some shirts. And, I'm like calling people in other, states. I'm like, hey, I need you to buy a hat and a shirt. I need to have some commerce, cross-border commerce, so I can show that there's some sales with this and, and lock in this name. And that's really, what brought it. I was just seriously, I mean, you think about this, I don't know how old you are, but I got some gray. I did shave, but, we both got the gray. We're both sporting the grays, but
seasoned.
We're very seasoned. So just, with all the marketing going on around, I'm just, and companies are always wanting a way to connect with, whether it's a service or a product, they want to connect with, their customer, who's their audience. And I mean, I'm like, having the relationship with Carol, who you met, after a relationship didn't work out when I moved here, and just hit it off. And I was like, what's more powerful than love, And so to be able to bring the relationship, that happened because I moved to Vermont with this amazing woman, I mean, I couldn't think of a more better way to honor and show how much I care about her by naming the brewery after, the emotional connection and bond that we shared from the moment we met.
Dude, that's awesome. What a cool story. I love
it. I love.
Who doesn't? They should. We all should. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's definitely more love, no war, more love. Let's spread it.
All day, every day, brother. I'm here for it. Well, you know what? That's a perfect pause point. Do you want to get into the next beer, and then we'll get into the next part of the story?
Let's do it.
What's on the list? You tell me, sir.
All right. We are going for the pre-prohibition American lager. That would be the one with the American flag on that one.
Let's go. I saw that. I love I feel like these are fewer and far between, and every time I have one, I'm like, damn, they're good. Tell us about this style a bit. Every time I learn about it, I always forget. There's something hyper specific about the style that is escaping me.
Yeah, so my brewer has most of the history, and him making so many beers. We have 19 draft lines. So
wow,
and there's our, as you say, the flagships are the ones that are always there, and then you have and I have the rotational. So, I mean, like I said, I don't ask him, to do specific things unless I come with an idea. I let him run with it, and he loves it. Like, I'll do the art for the beer. He can do the beer as the art.
Love that.
And so I told him that I really enjoy lagers, and he's like, I got something I think you're really going to enjoy. And he goes, I'm going to bring back a lager that goes back to pre-prohibition days, and it's a pre-prohibition lager. So that's why I actually went, if you look at the label, there's 48 states. So I went back with the flag. So it's true to the time period of before prohibition. It doesn't have the 50 stars on it.
That's sick. Look at that. Attention to detail. The flag looks so cool too. Like, it's like that mid wave. It's like a little like
vintage,
grimy a little bit. Like, yeah, like if you just, like, it looks sick. Hell yeah, that's fire, dude.
Thank you. So, the pre-prohibition lager, because prohibition lasted as long as it did.
Yes.
A lot of the ingredients that the farms were producing got sold elsewhere. So, here comes the United States. We abolish, we get rid of prohibition, and, well, the ingredients used.
I got it. Stupid photos,
I love the photo. The ingredients weren't as easily accessible to make this exact style, which what brings us to modern day, Budweiser, Coors, Miller, they're good if you're out there mowing the lawn and you're, just want to suck down some flavored water. But as I let people know, like, we get a lot of people that come in, married couples or you're dating and they're like, oh, my husband or boyfriend is just like a Coors guy or a Miller guy. And I'm like, well, try this. And I call this like a gateway drug, because once they try this, like, oh, that's really good. Because you'll notice there's some citrusy notes and some woodsy notes to this beer that you won't find in your modern Coors, Miller, or Budweiser.
I love that. Cheers, bro. Wicked head too. Ooh. Oh, that is phenomenal. You're right. Lemongrass, like a lemongrassy thing, because there's like a little touch of there's the citrus, like a splash of citrus, and like that herbal grassy bitterness that like complements that perfectly.
Yeah, it's earthy, woodsy notes to it.
Yeah. Do you know? Okay, do you know what it's hopped with or anything like that?
Kangaroos and bunnies.
No one's ever said that before. I like that. I'm serious. Let's say that before.
I mean, Australia. I got to bring in the kangaroos.
I like that.
Little baby roos, man.
I feel seen.
I see you, man.
Thanks, brother. See, that's why it's called Soulmate.
So I would be lying if I told you that I knew what the ingredients were of all these. I mean, I have little cheat sheets at the brewery because he has so many styles, and I get asked all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I do not want to give the audience any wrong information on technical side of it, but oh my gosh, I do know that I help lug the 55 pound sacks of grain around upstairs, and
they're not light, eh?
Oh my gosh, not after you get 2 or 3 pallets delivered.
Oh gosh, 2 or 3 pallets. That's a ton of bags, eh? You didn't even need to go to the gym.
Well, yeah, there's that. Our brewery is in a historic 1875 building right in the downtown. So we don't have at this current location, we'll call it the flagship, the original location of Soulmate. Mm-hmm. We don't have room for a silo. I mean, we just the parking lot. We share a community parking lot, and the town said they would give us permission, but the amount of groundwork to support the weight of a silo.
Okay.
The engineering and then the cost of the silo. I'm like, you know what? I mean, let's just stick with the plant we have, the production we can produce. It's a 15-barrel system. We have 8 different fermentation vessels, 15s and 30s. And then we have a pilot system that we can do little half barrel, just test batches. Pallets of grain, it works, for now. And, and once we hit year 3.5, 4, 5 years in, and we have enough of a following, more people know about us, we can look towards that next location where it makes sense to put that type of investment, but to really drop, $500,000 on a public parking lot to put a silo in.
That's how much a silo is? $500,000?
By the time you get done with the ground prep.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy. Would a silo make sense? Because and I'm pretty sure this is correct, you're only putting one grain type in a silo. So that would mean you would have an absurd amount of 2-row or something that would have to be used in essentially every beer to make that silo worthwhile. Is that, and then you'd have to still supplement it with some 55s, pound bags that are, you know what I'm saying? Is it? Yeah,
the ideal scenario would be, the next location when we get to that point to expand would have your 2. You want to have your 2 base malts, and have 2 silos rather than be limited to 1.
Yeah,
and then yes, you're still going to have the sacks.
Just for the specialties, if you're doing the imperial stouts and stuff like that, you got chocolate malts in Vienna and Munich and da 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 da. Yeah,
there's nothing like the aroma of a beer being brewed. You just running down all the different malts.
Right.
I slung them all.
It's Jesus, even just talking about it, I'm like, oof, that just sounds good. Yeah, I can see why it would be beneficial, but that was always one thing that I never actually asked anyone before, but not many breweries I speak to have silos. I think it's not the most common thing in the world, probably because of that steep price point to get it done. So it really would have to be worth it. It just would seem it would lock you into that. But yeah, I guess there is at least a base mod, but it doesn't completely eradicate that physical lifting for all the other stuff. So it's,
and I'm 53. I'll be 54 here in a bit. So the old back, I got to be careful.
Don't push it. Yeah,
it's like I guess I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm an old hen, but
no, you're still a spring chicken. I think. Yeah. I think you can call it. You're good.
Oh,
No,
well,
you
I
don't wanna-
appreciate that.
just use those legs, eh? Don't lift with the back. Use the legs. You know.
The legs are also 53 going on
Yeah.
54. So I got to get some of that Elon Musk stuff, and
Whatever it
inject
is.
it into me, whatever it is. Yeah. Turn me into a robot. I don't know.
Here for it. Let's go. Get that testosterone. Dude, this is fantastic. This is so good. Typically, the ones that I've had in the past, now I don't know what the difference is. That's what I think that maybe it's actually, I'm thinking the opposite way around, is that the way you just described it, pre-prohibition, you had access to all the ingredients. During prohibition, they took away access. So therefore, those adjunct corn lagers that we would, the domestic stuff came about after the fact. So this is actually a full flavored lager before, like American lager in the true sense, before things got watered down to the, what
Exactly.
people consider that today. So it's just so crushable. It's so balanced. It's such a great. It's 5.2 monies. This is phenomenal, dude. I love this. This is so good.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's exceptional. Great balance. I also see. I just noticed on the can here, we got 2 awards. We got the silver and the bronze at the Denver competition.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, and the QR code for that investment later.
Oh,
I put that on there for people to see.
we're going to talk about that after, because this is a
Yeah.
very, very unique concept that doesn't come up very often. It's thank you for bringing that back up again. Let's definitely talk about that once we get through the brewery stuff. So this beer, oh, by the way, we should also say whether each one are flagships or actually maybe flagships not the right word, like one-offs or year round.
That's a good question. So the Hefeweizen has been year round. The pre-prohibition American lager is year round.
Amazing. Oh man, this is so good. This is so good. I'm so impressed. I'm not surprised. I love it so much, dude. And this is cool because all I'm sending it out. I'm glad you feel that. All I've had from you, I was saying earlier, was with the dark beer. So this is really interesting as well. I'm glad we're starting off with all of these and going through like the lineup of basically a pretty solid amount of styles that you do to really get the real picture of the brewery. And I'm already getting it like so dude, I love it. Sorry, I'm going to be gushing a lot over this stuff. I already feeling like this is money. So thank you for this one. Thank you for that whole story.
Just wait till we get to the next one, because let me tell you what's behind door number 3. There's more.
There's more. We're going up to door number 9 tonight. God damn it.
Yes, we are.
We're going hard. Let's pick up where we left off in the story, because I feel like I got a feeling you and I are going to be tangenting a lot tonight, which is a beautiful thing. I never stop a good tangent. I think that's what makes a good pod, right? Good convo.
Absolutely.
Okay, you and Carol had the building. You decided on the name, and you committed to that. You had your trademark lawyer look that up. You're like, cool, we can register everything. We're good to go. So now you've got an empty building, a name, and a concept.
Correct.
Where do we go from there?
Well, the drawing board. So my background is marketing and engineering. So I had a pretty good idea, because I don't brew. I know what I want the experience to be for us as consumers when we go out. And, as I mentioned just a little while ago, some places you go into and you're like, man, I can't wait to go back. Those people were amazing. Even if the beer wasn't great, just, the people made the experience worthwhile that you'd go back. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, okay, we need to take this business plan of what we want to do, and we now have to get on the search for a brewer. We have to we have to meet with different manufacturing, companies to what plant are we going to buy? What size are we going to start with? We want people, me not being a brewer, but a business guy. I pull from the expertise of people that are in the industry, and so I met with multiple manufacturers, all great people, and the plant we set out and
I got to freeze for a sec.
Am I there?
Sorry, you froze just for a second. Yeah, we're back. We got you back.
Yeah. So figuring out the plant and having, like I said, an 1875 building. I had to tear down a 40-foot by 30-foot section of the building right down to the ground, because we had to reinforce the floor, cement, pour new concrete, raise the height of the ceiling to do all of that. And in the meantime, while we're doing this, we're interviewing for brewers, and it's quite interesting. I put out a post. We had over 40 responses from around the world, and
Around the world, eh? That's
oh
cool.
yeah, we had people. So our brewer, as I mentioned, came from Mexico City, but we had people from India, Germany, Japan, mostly the U.S. Reach out. And one of the things that we found was a lot of people, even though I put in the post, we're looking for somebody who appreciates all styles, because Soulmate, you don't know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet, kind of goes with the theory, the whole story about how I met Carol. I came up here and under one thing, and next thing you know, the world changes. So we wanted a brewer who has the passion for brewing all styles. Not an easy task. It even got to the point, we're installing equipment. We're doing what we're doing, and we still don't have a brewery yet. And, Carol's like, are we going to find this person? I said, oh, we're going to find this person. We even went out of our way, we reached out to all different groups like Pink Boots, like, are there any women, cellarmen, assistant brewers that would like an opportunity to open up a brewery with us? And I couldn't believe how many people we didn't find. The organizations, these women organizations, I said they would love the fact that we reached out to them, but we got like one response, and and it wasn't going to work out with timing of what she was doing, but I was blown away. I'm like, I would have thought that there would be more women just ready to jump at the opportunity to come on board with us.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we ended up, finding our brewer Hideki, and that rest is history. Like I said, we couldn't taste his beer, but putting it together. But the interesting thing is, so I had the name, but the logo. So did not have the logo, had some ideas. And so, as I mentioned, I wrote the business plan in the spring of 2019, and we got married September. Before we got married, we took Carol has two daughters from her first marriage, and we took them on a trip down to Washington, D.C. for the museums.
Nice.
This is just before we got married, and we met her cousin, and he's an artist. So here's the cool thing about it. So I meet this guy, and his name's Patrick Reed O'Brien. You can look him up. He was commissioned by Jimmy Buffett to do the art for his Margaritaville locations in the U.S.
Damn. Okay.
He's got a piece that was commissioned by a previous former president that's still in the White House, hanging in the White House. So I meet him, and of course, he's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." To all the pleasantries of meeting somebody new, right? And what do you do? And I said, "Well, I bought a building. We're working on this brewery." And he's like, "Did Carol tell you what I do for a living?" And I said, "Yes, you're an artist." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You know how important branding is." He goes, "You got a great name. You know how important branding is, right? You want to make sure it captures the essence of what you're doing." And I said, "Oh, I completely agree with you. I do have a background in marketing. Yeah, you should totally consider having me do the logo for you." And I said, "Pat, I would absolutely love that." I said, "But I can't ask you to do that." And he's like, "Why?" I said, "Carol said Jimmy Buffett commissioned you to do the Margaritaville art, right?" "Yep." He's like, "Yeah." I said, I can't afford you. I'm not asking." I was like, "I'm not going to insult you." And he's like, no, you're marrying my cousin. I will give you the family discount. You want this to be right. I'd love to work on it. And so I got to tell you, he spent hours with us discussing the vision, what's my vision for the business, and I said, well, so, eventually we'd like to be out of, expand beyond the borders of Vermont. We're close to Canada, so international would be great. And, who knows? I said one of our investors is down in, Australia or in New Zealand at the time. I said, it would be great if over time this could grow and develop into kind of like Margaritavilles, in other areas. And so he's like, all right. So he got to work. And he said, I'm going to send you different things based on what we discussed. I'm the artist. You're not going to insult me. If you don't feel it, you don't feel it. You just tell me, and I'll keep going until we get it right.
Okay.
So probably about 6-7 weeks in, he's sending us stuff, and it's nice, but, and I'm like, oh, man. I was like, not feeling it. One morning I wake up, and there's an email from Pat. Carol's still sleeping. I open it up, and I see this. not with the color scheme, but just, the black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that looks pretty awesome. And
Sick.
so Carol gets up and
Just to show it on camera.
I show her the email from Pat, and there was 4 different things in there. This was one of the 4, and I said, I like one of them. Which one And she goes, yeah. And so we pointed to the same one. So we call Pat. We're like, oh man, absolutely love it. And I said, what's this? What was the thought process in this one? He said, well, swans mate for life, so soulmates. And swans inhabit every part of the planet except for the North Pole and South Pole, where you're not going to open up a brewery. So if you do take this where you want to other countries, people will be familiar with what the representation is of a swan. And it was just interesting to get into the inner workings of his mind on taking our information and then putting it to this. And it was like, dude, that's pretty awesome. I was like, no wonder Jimmy Buffett hired you.
That's sick. I didn't know that about the swans, and that makes complete sense. Everywhere, I guess, ever I can think of, you've been in the world, it's like, oh yeah, the swans there, you don't really consider that. And it represents love too. I feel like you think of swans, it's always like that little bendy neck and the kissing and stuff. And...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's really cool. And he's worked on other things for us too, which is nice. And we'll have to do those beers on different. I don't think any of the other ones he's done for us are here this evening.
Oh, has he done some of the labels as well?
He has done some of the labels, but not any of the ones we are doing today.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's sick. That's that is really cool that you're able, one, to have that in the family, but 2, that he was so interested to the point where he's like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, that's kind of optimal situation right there. Someone so seasoned and skilled to come through. The logo is very impressive. It's super nice. It's so clean. Looks great on the hoodie right there. Looks great on the hat, like by itself. By the merch.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
Isn't it? Hang on, I didn't have it up. Soulmatebrewing.com. There it is. Beautiful.
Yes.
So people can go grab that. Can people buy merch online?
So I don't have the store turned on. They can call us right now. I am working on that. It's one of those where, we're such a small operation. It's me out front. They're handling the marketing. I'll also be handling the sales and all that for distribution until we get enough where we can hire somebody to help us. Hideki handles all the brewing. His wife handles the kitchen. So we do have food. So any of your listeners who are hearing this, if they want to come visit, we have a very nice kitchen.
Amazing.
And then, we do want to get the online store, but if you have some limitations when you're in a historic building like ours, space. So I was able to raise the roof and do what I needed to do for, the equipment, but like so much storage, you're just so limited. So we're working on getting some of the stuff out. The brewery is actually in the original hardware store for the town.
Okay.
So like there's still like bins and things that are like built into the building in the basement. So we're still in the process of clearing that out. And then once I can have a space dedicated to this inventory is only for online, because the worst thing I would want to have happen to any of our guests is order something and then, oh, that shirt just sold out of the bin right at the counter.
I see what you mean.
And it's not there.
Yeah, you'd have to pre-allocate it or something like that, but it doesn't seem feasible right now.
So that's the goal, then probably in the next 6 months to get the store on, and then people call us all the time. Hey, can I get one of your shirts? And now you just take their credit card over the phone, and we mail it to them. So I mean, it's been working out, for sure.
That's good. So people can do that, or they could probably message you or email you,
I get that all the time, and I'll text them or email them pictures of the merchandise that we have, and they'll pick what they want, give me their address. I literally go to the post office, get whatever the actual shipping cost is. We don't mark that up. And, I'm like, all right, here's what the shipping is. Okay, sure. Here's my card,
That's really good. I love that. What's the rules in Vermont with shipping beer currently?
Yeah. Vermont, for being as liberal a state as it is, it's not that liberal with the
friendly
rules.
With
that. There's a permit that you can get. You can pay extra to ship beer within the state of Vermont.
Okay.
And there's we looked into this, there's around 10, 11 states that we know of that we as a brewery can get a license in another state, but each state, it could be $100 annual fee, or it could be, $1,500. And, like, you need to have a few hundred people in that state saying, "Oh, we're going to buy from you on a weekly basis." If you're going to spend $1,000 to get a license,
for sure.
I mean, it's not easy. We have chatted with there's a couple of companies that we can send to them. They're like third-party vendors. They will put a link on our website. So you basically can buy the beer. It looks like it's from us, but it's fulfilled by them. Some of those fees are a little tricky too, and, we want our beer to be affordable, and we want it to be approachable. This shouldn't be like some rare, champagne that's, $1,000. We want it to be reasonably priced. So, speaking with some of these companies, yes, they have to make money. We get it. But some of the markup seems like, okay, what's justifiable? I mean, when you start getting in everybody's cut. So we are navigating that because they have very good setups. And some of them we need to work with a distributor, like, to get it to them in their state. So there's so many steps to shipping beer, which also brings me to something else.
Yes.
We make our own hard seltzer and we make our own cider, which falls under wine.
Okay.
And you can ship these products a lot easier. So we did our first batch of apple cider, and people from Vermont who grew up on cider came in and said, "Oh my gosh, like, this is your first batch." And so we should have 2 other batches ready to go for people to taste. Here in another couple of weeks, they'll be ready. And then we actually have a controlled tasting for a new hard seltzer this Saturday with people. It's going to be 3 samples. You get like a 1 ounce pour, and then take your notes, and then cleanse your palate. And so, and whichever of the 3 seltzer samples that get the highest score of the control group is going to be the next one we're coming out with. So while we really love making beer, absolutely love it, there are so many restrictions, it seems, with getting beer to other states that you just don't have with wine products. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? And we took a gold medal. I didn't ship it to you, but we did get a gold medal for our hard seltzer, our lavender hard seltzer, in Denver. So maybe we'll do another podcast with you, and I'll get you these other products.
No question. That's awesome. Good for you. Lavender seltzer. That's fascinating too. Just the flavor profile there.
Well, and here's the funny thing. Didn't even realize how much lavender is grown right here in Canada and Vermont.
Right.
So the lavender we're using, we got from France. And
you're like, oh shit.
People come into the brewery and they're like, "So what farm did you get this from?" I'm like, "We got it from a distributor, and this is from France." And they're like, "Oh, you can go right here in Vermont and Canada." And I was like, so I did a couple of tours, and the farms gave us some samples. So we're going to work with those and see if the flavor profile is the same, and see if we can't just keep it all local. Have a seltzer that's either Vermont made or Canada or both.
That's awesome. That's sick. It's just creative. Seltzers are typically, just from what I've seen, have been fruit based.
Yes.
As opposed to like what would you call lavender? It's not a herb, is it? Flower?
It would be a flower.
Flower, right? Yeah.
Well, like I said, out of the box, in the can.
In the can. God damn it. I love it.
So let me ask you, you want to see what's behind door number 3?
It's door number. I was about to say, you took the words out of my mouth. So what are we saying?
We are going to go look for the, let's see.
The little bicycle there.
Where's the, yes. Hops on a bike.
Hops on a bike. There he is. Alrighty. Cold IPA. Hells yeah. This is a style that I feel like, just like with Brut IPA, it didn't really get the attention that I felt like this style sort of deserved. Why did you guys do a cold IPA? I guess it was Hideki's sort of concept there, or?
Yeah, we took a gold medal with this one too.
Hell yeah!
Damn,
you got medals out the ass, dude.
We have 30.
30?
29 beers and 1 for the seltzer.
Jeez. In 2.5 years. That's crazy.
We're busy. We're busy little beavers.
You guys are not messing around in any shape or form.
I mean, listen, if I was 18 and opened up a brewery, I'd have time, but I'm now considered an antique. I'm over 50. So I gotta hit the gas pedal and go.
Gotta go hard, right? You can't mess around. Hey man, I get it. Cold IPA.
Yes, sir.
Where did this idea come from this one?
Excellent question. So you've heard of a black and tan.
I have.
Usually, Guinness and Harp.
Mm-hmm.
So again, outside the box thinking and wanting to do something unique and have our mark on the industry. Cheers.
Cheers, legend. That was spilling there.
So I said to my brewer, I said, I have an idea. I would like to do a modern version of the black and tan.
Okay.
And I said, and I want it to be done with IPAs.
That's okay. That comes into the
the black IPA, the one you had.
Yes. And I just realized now the name. I was looking it up in on Tap here, and I was like, "Oh, I've had one that's similar name." So, okay, keep going. I get where you're going already.
I said, what I'd like is you don't really find too many black IPAs.
No, few and far between.
And I said, I'd like to have a nice black IPA that is awesome by itself, and then I'd like to have a clear West Coast style IPA that's awesome by itself. Standalone. They're both standalone on, just they can get exact to the style the way they should be, but we can combine them and have the gravities be different where one will float on the other. And he's looking at me and he says, challenge accepted. I'll get to work. So about 8 weeks later, in these little cups, we did a little batch. You ordered the ingredients, got them in, made a few batches, and he goes, I believe this is going to achieve. So we're sitting there with a spoon and like pouring it in and, like, all right. And it worked. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that's amazing. So I call it the 802 tuxedo, the Green Mountain tuxedo, 802 for our, area code there.
Very good. Yeah.
And so I basically, the artwork for it is a picture card, like from a deck of cards. And so it shows the cold IPA, the color, and the black IPA. So the black IPA is on the bottom and the cold IPA is on top. And man, I do have some pictures online of it, but I think maybe we add this to another one. I'll make them and I'll do it from the brewery so I can make it. And I can have the camera there. You can watch me make it because it's like both of them, when they separate, it's like a lava lamp. And
it sits perfect on top, if you do it with the spoon.
Actually, and I bought one of those units that sit right on top of the pint glass that has the holes in it, so it just evenly disperses.
So sort of like, is there like a sharp line, or is it kind of like it's a little bit muddied and like?
Yeah, so I mean, I start off with the motorcycle, and I get that about 3 inches up in the glass, and then I leave a little bit of foam so it helps buffer as the cold IPA is seeping through.
Okay.
And before you know it, you got this most beautiful drink, separated, and you just bring it over and it's like waving. Well, like I said, if you'd like to do another one, I'll do it from the brewery so I can make it and you can see it being made. It's really, really cool, and just people love it.
Let's definitely do that. I love that idea. That's super cool. Like a black and tan of IPAs. I have never heard of that. This works super well. It's so crisp. I forgot that like cold IPAs are so like, yeah, I guess it's almost like it's like a lager meets West Coast IPA meets a little bit of a juicy East Coast. As far as like if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if you remember. I always forget. Isn't a cold IPA? It's brewed, it's fermented warm, but with lager yeast. It's meant to be fermented cold.
You're stealing my show. Yes,
sorry, please.
No, that's exactly what I tell people when they ask me. I'm like, it's made with lager yeast, but it's fermented at an ale temperature, 100%.
Okay. Yep. Beautiful. So I have nailed it finally. Fuck. Do you happen to offhand remember the hops that are in this one at all?
Oh, did we put on the label? I know some of the labels we did.
I didn't see it on this one that I'm seeing here.
Nope. I guess
No, that's okay. I'm just curious.
We'll have to on the next episode of Who's Your Soulmate.
Well, that
we'll, we'll have to bring Hideki in here and have you can extract this knowledge from his brain.
It's always it doesn't really matter. I'm always just curious, just because it sort of like can sometimes give you a bit of a vague idea, at least, of sort of the profile of what to expect. But it's not like, yeah, it's not that serious.
No, it's funny. There's so many things, and as Hideki and my wife say, there's so many hats you wear. Like for me to try and cram everything into this brain, I'm like, I have no hair left, so all the knowledge I have pushed all the follicles out. So it's.
You don't want to push anymore.
Oh my gosh, the brain's going to start oozing out. I'll be like, is that toothpaste? No, man, that's the brain matter.
It's worth it though. God damn it. No, this is fantastic. So people can do the black and tan in the brewery. You can ask for that, and you get that pull.
It's the 802 tuxedo. Yes.
Sorry, just to remind. Yes. Okay.
Yes. I always ask them. I'm like, are we going formal or are we here casual? You want extra starch in your tuxedo?
I'm gonna write that down. 802 tuxedo. That's great.
Oh yeah. I'll send you the artwork for it too.
Yeah, I'd love. Oh, is it? Do you have a package it, or is it like?
So I'm working on that. I'm working on doing like a mixed for it. So it's but the packaging, again, 2.5 years in, there's only so much money to go around right now.
Big time. It doesn't always make sense. Yeah.
So like we have the packaging. It's just a matter of the moment that we can execute. I think especially if we could. Partner up with a few distributors around, whether it's, New York, New Hampshire, Canada, would give us the opportunity to buy the packaging at a quantity that is economically viable for us to produce and keeps the price, at a good price point for, the consumer, to have it. So it's, you buy.
Does it need a different type of packaging than regular cans?
So we could do it. We could do it in cans, but I was thinking it would be nice to have it in a box where you have your 4-pack and just different. I think it would display the art. I'll send you a picture of it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. I think it would be nicer in a box, but we could do it. We absolutely could do it.
Right. Oh, you mean like bottles in a 4-pack or whatever?
Correct.
No, okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So because you can see through it. So in a bottle, would it sit?
Well, no. Basically, you'd be doing these at home, so we would give you the techniques to do all this.
I'm
stuff.
sorry.
So when we're not there, yeah.
Okay, so you'd get the own stuff, and you'd be like, "All right, this is how you do it," and there'd be cans, right? But they'd need an external box, so you'd probably just buy it in a little carry-on for. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
I like that.
So I got all that down. It's just a matter of putting it together and
yeah, because you would need that
coming to a store near you.
I mean, that would be pretty sick. I don't know if I've seen it in Montreal. There was one time they did like a 2 beer. It was not a black and tan, but 2 beers that were intended for blending. I forgot the brewery. That they had 2 different cans, and the idea was to try them separately and then pour them, together and see what the blend was like. But I don't think I've seen that with black and tan before, as far as like sold in like a pack, whether it's, I guess it'd be 2 of each or something like that. Like you do a 4-pack. Yeah.
Correct.
That's pretty sick, dude. I like that.
Yep. We've done it at the brewery, and I show people, and so they do. But I want to give it the right presentation. I mean, you come to the brewery, we can show you all day long.
Yeah.
But for you to have, if you're just at a store and we're not there, yeah.
That's really smart.
So yeah,
like,
and so how are you enjoying your bike ride?
The bike ride is phenomenal.
You're burning calories.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I hope so. I really hope so. Oh no, dude, this is sick. Yeah, so I love it, specifically now because I had the Hops on a Motorcycle, which was the black IPA version of that. Which is, I've always been like, I always feel people shit on black IPAs, but I've always liked them. I like Cascadian dark ales, as they were called back in the day.
Exactly.
Like 15 years ago, when I got into beer properly, it was like a delicacy if you got one. Like they weren't really around. I feel like they just kind of have like a, I don't know, there's intro. I feel like if you love them, you love them now. And I really enjoyed the way you guys did it, because it had that beautiful, like, dark chocolatey malty body with like not the hops and that tropical hop vibe were not clashing.
Right.
And it just works so well. And so does this. Like, once again, cold IPAs are few and far between as far as my experience recently. That and brewed IPAs are just basically non-existent. They just disappeared. But cold IPAs are like, they pop up here and there. So it's always like a pleasure to get one again. Because it's
Yeah, I've been to a few different beer conferences, and it's hearing like some of the experts that handle national marketing, and the cold IPA is not something that sells. It makes no sense because it's delicious, but I mean, I call it something else. I don't.
yeah, it could just be like, I always wondered if it was like a just a consumer education thing. If you don't know what it is, like, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? Like, and not purchase it, perhaps.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, because most of the clerks you're gonna have at a store, if they have
I don't
a
even wanna
thousand,
know.
if they've had
Yeah.
1,000 beers, there's no way they're tasting them all and know what they're talking about, and
No.
that's why. Well, if you look at the back of our cans, while I might not have the exact hops that we're using or whatever, we'd like to be very descriptive. What you're drinking, you can pick it up and look at that, and it's going to give you the notes and what you will be drinking, and the experience when you open this can.
Which I love that, particularly because I'm doing my little reviews as well, like just writing them up, just basic tasting notes and stuff. Having a little bit of information here and or untapped, I find is super helpful just to know what's going on.
And as you were just mentioning, like the uninformed or informed consumer, or the sales clerk, even when you come to our brewery, my wife had the idea, and Hideki loved it. We have like 50 things you may not know about beer on like the table tent. And so it'll have like the question and on the backside the answer, because we want everyone who comes in who has an interest to be educated about beer. And people compliment us on that all the time. Like, oh my gosh, thank you for having that. I had no idea. So
Interesting. So people are going to breweries and not really knowing what sort of stuff is on there about like what hops are and all that. Like, is it
history, yeah, there's specific hops,
okay.
temperatures, histories of different styles of beer, just you
Just
name it.
facts, beer facts.
It's yep, 100%.
Mm. That's actually a really good. I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like that's like if we're gonna take, tell me if you agree with this then, because this is why I think this is important. I feel like breweries in America compared to Canada, I have qualitatively, it's completely, I'm pulling this out my ass, but I'll go to a brewery that I know is maybe hyped or maybe not even just breweries in it, and I feel like I look around and there's sometimes I'm like, oh, there's the beer nerds, they got Untapped out, they're doing their thing. I'm like, those people, that group of people there, they just think this is a bar, because breweries often have in America more so than Canada, which is could speak to the law, or the ease of getting the permits, but the maybe they got wine, they got some spirits, they got some seltzers or ciders, like other options aside from just beer. So if me and you want to go to a brewery and we've got 4 other friends and none of them really drink beer, then we're like, oh, don't worry, they got everything. It's no different to a bar. So I find that my assumption is that a lot of people in the States go to a brewery and it's not as like niche sometimes, because they would consider it a bar. And then with that, your education piece. So it's either that, or maybe they are into beer, but they just don't know much about it. They're a bit more casual. They can pull up to Soulmate and they can sit there at the table and then learn something, which maybe to a beer nerd they already know, but to somebody who's a bit newer to it, they're like, oh wow, this is fascinating. Have you seen sort of any, based on kind of what I just put out there, is there any thoughts on that, generally speaking, with regard to the education things on the table?
So it is a mix. I mean, we get a lot of people who are like homebrewers, and they come in like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. We have books on the bar for different styles of beer making, and history of the beers. Well, we get a mix of everything. I mean, people just, they'll place an order and then they're start reading. It's really cool when we do get like home brewers to come in and like, hey, is there any chance your brewer could give me some tips? And I'm like, Let me if he's not brewing, and I know he's not brewing, let me go see if he's available, and he'll come out. He'll chat with him for 10, 15 minutes and give him some pointers. Our brewer also, he teaches online courses too. So you have to have a certain level of knowledge. So like when he's not at the brewery, he's plugged in with people around the world and does online courses too. So, I mean, happy to share knowledge. It's funny. People ask, you don't have to tell me the hops you're using or this or that. And Hideki's like, I can tell you everything we're using. If you don't know how we're using it, you're never going to make the beer the way we do. So it's just like, that's a great
point.
He's like, it's not a secret of we're happy to share all the ingredients, but yeah, you're not going to duplicate what we're doing.
One of the best examples that I love that you said that too, and I think that's so cool that he's willing to give that information to people. There's a brewery in Charlotte called Resident Culture, and I had them on a couple of years ago because I went there and I was like, this is sick. Connected with them, and the dude who was the brewer, I believe he's left now, used to work at Russian River. And when he told me, I was like, you know the recipe to Pliny? He's like, yeah, but I couldn't make it if I tried. Like, I know the recipe, but like, I mean, it's different water, it's different, the equipment's different, the process. And I always felt that was a cool illustration of exactly what you just said, where you can, give you anything, but you're not going to be able to replicate it. And it's more like, I would imagine that any brewer, they'd want to replicate it for their own selves, but if they're going to, then they'd make their own version of it or whatever it is, because that's the beauty of brewing. It's an art and a science that you can kind of make it your own, but maybe sometimes you got to like copy something in the beginning to understand how to do it, and then you kind of move on. So it's
100%. Yeah. You brought up the key point. It's all comes down to the water chemistry, the mineral content. And when I mentioned Hideki, our brewer, what I want to accomplish of having beers represented from around the world, I mean, he's always like, hey, I'd like to order this, or this, and this. And I mean, we have like all the different salts and minerals that, so he can literally manipulate the water to reflect exactly what it would be if he's going to do something from Japan or this part of Germany or from Italy. And it's just, I call him Yoda, the Yoda of beer making. I'm like, is there anything you can't do, man? So yeah, no, he's sick. Yeah, he's like the mad scientist back there in the brewery.
I love that. So then on that point, actually, when you opened by the time you got everything ready. So from actually just before we get to the beer side, from when you say you were like, you had the name and everything was ready to go, how long did all the construction take to get the brewery to the point, or the building to the point of opening ready?
Oh, it was over 30 months. It was yeah, just shy of 3 years with all the delays, COVID related delays. I mean, we had equipment. It was sitting in a warehouse in New York. I had to get the building. We had to get it installed. Once the equipment was there, trying to find a plumber certified to work on steam pipes, because we bought a boiler. We went with steam. It's the perfect way to brew. When possible. So we went and did everything the right way, and then we had an electrical engineer look at everything and tell us what we needed. So while the walls were exposed, electricians ran the wires. They're like, let us know when the plumber's done with his work, because water flows in certain ways, right? It's going to always go downhill. Let the plumber finish his stuff. We'll come back and we'll wire things up after. So the plumbers finally get done with the steam pipes, condensate returns, all that stuff. Electricians come in and they're like, this isn't going to work. What are you talking about? So the electrical engineer made a miscalculation, an error, but this error ended up costing us another $50,000 and another, 6 weeks of time to get open. So all the electrical that we put in the walls, worthless. So now we had surface mounted stuff. We had to literally, the town was planning on repaving the parking lot that comes right. There's a municipal parking lot on the backside of our building, and they were planning on repaving it. In order for us to get the power we needed due to the electrical engineer's miscalculations, we had to pull 3-phase power from across the parking lot, which means we had to cut a 100-yard trench.
Oh, in the parking lot?
In the parking lot, before they paved it, because if they paved it first, they said we're not. I said I have all this equipment. You have to let us do this. Like there's no way you can't let us get power here. I was like, so in under 6 weeks, I had to find a cement company who can make the casting to support the 3-phase vault, an excavation company to dig the trench, get the permits, get the conduit, and this is all during COVID. And then you had to have the panels. Like you have to have these 3-phase panels. Like, I mean, you couldn't find these anywhere. And we got it all done. I mean, it was crazy. Got it all done. And here's the kicker. They told us we had to get it done in like 6 weeks, or they wouldn't let us. It was over a year after that they paved the parking lot.
Of course, it's city.
So like get it done, or we're not going to let you do it. And then I'm like, where's the paving?
Yeah.
Right. So again, that's no hair. There's a reason why I have no hair.
Government never fails, eh?
Yeah. No. So literally, April, May 2019, and then we opened up our doors July 28th of 2023.
2023. Okay. So yeah, you are 2.5 years. Okay. Geez. So
Yeah.
30 months of prep, and then a lot of that was construction delays. So then when Hideki moved up and started brewing, what was, I know you said you wanted to do beers from all over the world and all different styles. So Soulmate, the idea was always going to be kind of broad and have a bit of something for everybody. What did you open with? Do you remember the beers that you started with?
Oh yeah. So here's the cool thing. So while we were waiting on the main electrical, steam, all that, we had some other friends in the business who brought us their half barrel pilot system.
Okay.
So that he could start making some beer. I was able to, while we were waiting on 3-phase, I was able to get their equipment connected and temporarily. So he's brewing. We're still waiting on plumbers. We're still waiting on electricity. He's brewing. So he kept making batches of different things. So when we opened up our doors to the public, we had 13 draft lines full on day one.
Jeez.
and everyone's like,
that's awesome.
They're like,
how?
Right. I was like, they brought us like 5 fermenters, and then we had a few other fermenters from other people. So like he would just do batches and let them go. And here's the crazy thing, in stuff like that, it was basically a glorified home unit, all ambient temperature, fermentation. So, I mean, you're at the mercy. You couldn't control the temperatures.
Oh, no glycol. Yeah.
And, he literally nailed it. Like, so when we were discussing what my favorite beer is an oatmeal stout on nitro.
Hell yeah.
That was the first beer that he made. And so Hideki and Harumi, they get here. That's his wife. They get the permits, the visas, issued. They get that approved, and it was done in like weeks. I mean, it's so crazy how quickly the permit, the visa process went through. And we weren't ready. I'm like, we're still under construction, but the permit's issued and the clock starts. You pay for 3 years, 4 years to get going. And I was like, well, we're not ready for you to brew, but the permit's through. So yeah, come on up. We'll figure it out. So my wife and I are paying a salary with no revenue for over a year.
Jeez.
which hurt.
Yeah, man.
But we taught him carpentry. His wife learned how to paint. Like, I mean, it was a total team effort. I mean, really a total team effort.
Right.
And
they went in. That's sick, man. Because not everyone would do that.
No, I said, do you know how to paint? Do you know anything about carpentry? Know anything? He goes, no. I said, well, we'll teach you. So come on up. Let's get you acclimated to Vermont. Because, when he applied and we were chatting, I said, it snows in Vermont. It doesn't snow in Mexico City.
It was new to him, the whole
he's traveled. So the cool thing about Hideki, his dad's from Japan, his mom's from Mexico, so he's dual citizen.
Okay.
And he's traveled. He's been in snow. He's studied abroad. I mean,
okay, he knew the vibes.
Not as cold as Vermont gets, but he knew but he was familiar with snow. And then his wife, she had not been out of Mexico yet. Traveling was new to her. When it snowed, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't ever want it to not snow." She loves it.
Wow, good for her.
So she likes making TikTok videos, so you probably find her on the internet somewhere. We did have to prevent themselves from committing like unknown casualty suicide because they would like jump in. They were taking videos of themselves jumping to like snowbanks for like, there could be ice under there. Like it's like, oh, let's just dive in. I'm like, it's not all going to be fluffy. I'm like, let's teach you the ways of Vermont snow. It gets compacted. Don't kill yourselves, please.
It's rough. I feel like Vermont was like, because Vermont, from when living in Montreal, I found that Ottawa, Montreal, Vermont were basically the same weather all the way down compared to here, which is soft in comparison. Like I used to be so mad when I'd see all the Toronto, my girlfriend's from here, so we would come back here all the time, and I'd see them online, and all these like we'd have 6-foot piles of snow, and they would just be concrete, and I'd be like, oh, I'd be so mad. Mm-hmm. Or I'd be like, you guys are all so soft. You guys are. And now I'm like, I love being soft. It's awesome. The Vermont winters are not a joke. Like it's quite extreme for somebody to come from somewhere like Mexico and then hop straight into that, particularly for his missus on that. That's and good for her for embracing it. Because if you don't embrace it, you're not gonna have a great time.
No, I did tell them. I said, when we expand, I promise you that let's say the production facility, I say we will keep the location in Vermont because we love the town, we love the people, we love the sport, we love Canada, like everything like right here. It makes sense like to always have this location, but like at the end of the day, wanting to be a bigger player in the craft beer industry, it would make sense to have something more centrally located. So I'm like, so let's say hypothetical, it was the Carolinas, Virginia, or something like that, where you can then have distribution up and down the Eastern Seaboard, whether it's on rail or highway. Right now we did start selling some beer down in Florida, emergently from there. So very small amounts, but it's like $500 a pallet to ship there. So I said, all right, on those days it's 20 below with the wind chill and you're shoveling off the snow. I said, I tell you, man, I said, you can hit me over there with a hammer if I say, hey, let's open up another one. I'll get you guys further south.
That's a great way to keep them around because it's nice for a bit. If you're because like we were talking off air, I'm from Australia. I grew up in a place that did not snow. I'd never really seen it before. So when I moved here, the first few years, I loved it. I couldn't believe it. It was the coolest thing ever. I think by the time my fourth winter came back, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. This is enough.
Well, and the other thing is like, the sun. Why can't we just talk to the sun about staying up longer? Why does it have to go so short in the winter up here? I mean, the rotation of the earth. I mean, can Elon Musk not come up with an invention to just tilt us a little differently so we get more sun?
Just clear those clouds a bit, just get rid of them. God, I remember when we went to, being that you'd probably be more familiar with this than me because you keep winning all the awards in Denver. When we went to Colorado, we did a tourism campaign in 2018 or something with Colorado. And we're there for 2 weeks, and the one thing we took away from it, we get 300 days a year of sunshine. And
yeah, that's wild.
And they're still, their winters are no joke, but it's sunny. I'm like, fuck, that's what's up. 300 days is pretty crazy. I don't know.
And when you're not near the ski resorts, it like melts. So it snows, and it's like in the town, it melts. It's kind of bizarre.
It doesn't even, even if you're like a mile, what is it? They call Denver the Mile High City or whatever. It's still. It's not low.
No.
And they still get it. So it's possible. But the Carolinas they still snow down there. I know Raleigh and such get snow. And I guess Asheville does because it's quite mountainous. But
you don't need snow tires. You don't need snow tires.
And just it's good. Yeah. And it's 2 seconds from like Georgia and northern Florida and stuff. So it's, you're right. That's a good spot for it. That would make
would you like to go with one of our number one selling beers? Let me ask you.
Nothing I'd like to do more, Jonathan.
So we're gonna go. So from the cold IPA, we're gonna go to hazy, and this is one of our top selling labels. Not only that, it is this is the hops in bed.
Hell yeah! I got it on my other one. I got it. Oh, I have it. I just I put them on 4-packs to make it easier to bring down from the fridge. There we go. We got it. Beautiful.
So this one is hops in bed with strangers,
with the Disney font.
it's Disney-ish. It's not the actual Disney font.
Disney-esque.
It's Disney-esque. Yes.
It's not exact. I like that.
So this
font
is
makers will get sued.
I kind of, we went and did our due diligence on this one first.
Of course. Disney are
so
litigious.
So the funny thing about having, like I said, the 30 months of delays is I have a lot of time to come up with names. And so being very, at least, being excited about bringing them to life. So as I, mentioned when you met Kara earlier, she's an occupational therapist. She sees patients. I'm working on the brewery, doing the construction. We literally doing the construction, with the construction teams. Mm-hmm. And even when you come to the brewery, like we made all the furniture ourselves, the bar, it's all handcrafted by us. So I'm like, all right, we have a IPA here. I'm going to go hops. I'm like, all right. Well, hops in bed with strangers. I mean, everyone's a stranger until you become friends, right? So like, or it could just be strange. But either way, hopefully it's a pleasant experience.
That's really what you're after. Look, I'm here for it. Is this a series or this is a one-off or a flagship?
Oh, well, I would say at this point, I mean, we let our our guests determine what's what. But I mean, we have this artwork on shirts. I mean. This is like one of our top selling shirts, Hops in Bed with Strangers. Oh yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, Soulmate should be naughty, right? I mean, come on.
It's got to be a little bit right there. Cheers, legend.
Oh, cheers, brother. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, hell yeah. And this one doesn't say the hops. Do you know off the top of your head the hops on this one?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wish Hideki's probably sleeping by now.
It's not.
I will get. I mean, if you're going to put this on, if you're going to do some editing, I will get you the hops so you can like throw on what it is. That won't be an issue. I get that to you. And this one here, so it's not on this label because we just got the results back from Denver. But Hops in Bed with Strangers took home a silver.
Nice in the hazy IPA category.
Yes,
that's not a small thing. Particularly, I feel like that's going to be one of the most contested categories, no?
Oh, 100%. I mean, trying to, if you can pull a gold, a silver, or a bronze out of, the World Beer Cup or US Open because, I mean, you can see the entries. There's, thousands of them, where, you send in like a Dubel or, again, something that's just isn't that popular. Oh, well, we got 5 entries. Well, chances are 3 of those 5 are going to win something. So
true. This is not a small entry pool, I imagine, for this one.
No, so you send in a hazy, which everyone's trying to get recognition for it. So, so I was just, when Hideki, sent this in, he's always asking, hey, can I send this in or this in? I'm like, dude, you know what you want to send in?
Yeah, do it all. Like, I feel like why not? Because you never know, like, what can happen. And have you actually, really, direct question about that for you guys. Have you found aside from like team morale and to know that, like, we're making some really good stuff that experienced beer judges find to be excellent in the style, so obviously that's like we're doing something right for the industry. Have you found that it's benefited? And I ask this because we've had beer fest award folks, like this one called the Canada Beer Cup. We've had them on the pod, and I find them super cool. I've been to a bunch of the award ceremonies. I think it's super dope. But from a brewery's perspective, obviously you continually enter them, so you're proud of the products and you want them to be recognized. Have you found like a direct effect on the business from winning those awards? Obviously, you put on the label and it's a great cosign to be like, hey, this product won these awards at this prestigious festival. Like, have you found that that's sort of like does it make people more inclined to purchase the beer, or does it make licensees? I know you're about to move into that, but do people seem more interested, maybe, is a better question in general?
So it is funny because, on our menu, we do a traditional menu, not the chalkboard. So like you'd open it up like you're reading food. So with each beer, we'll put what awards they were won and what year, where from. And we'll have people that'll come in, oh, that won a gold, and I have to go with that. I'm like, a bronze isn't terrible either. But
It really isn't, particularly in that award, as you said. They're not.
yeah,
It's not like it's a small pool.
so there are people that come and look specifically for award-winning beers, and so when you're on the beer award platform, people can search that and see, ahead of time. Vermont, the media here is pretty good, about if you win, in competitions and release, give them a press release, they're pretty good about giving you coverage and letting people know. So people come in like, oh, I just saw you won 5 awards, or I saw you won this one, or you got 10 or whatever. So it absolutely does help. It validates, especially to a smaller brewery that's just opening. I mean, 2.5 years is very young. We still have the same struggles as if day one. I mean, getting discovered in a small town within a small state, it's challenging. So, to win awards and share that with the press, it's nice that they're willing to,
I like that.
Post that.
Yeah. Like that's it. The reason I ask was, and I think it's extra fascinating that you said that people see the gold on the menu and they want that one. That's kind of like the untapped equivalent of like, I only drink beers with a minimum of 4 aggregate type of thing, which I've heard so much. I didn't know that was a thing, but brewers always tell us that, like, yeah, people come in and they just like, oh yeah, what can I get you? And they're checking their Untapped and making sure each beer is a minimum of a 4 on average to be able to order it, which I think is absurd. Because just because sometimes I get it's a guide, but it's to not try something because of that seems a little odd. But that's interesting that I love hearing that people are like, all right, that gold medal is resulting in, or any medal is resulting in an elevated interest in the product.
Yeah, and we touched on this a little earlier. The whole Untapped thing. I let people know about our brewer's credentials, that he is a certified judge.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are familiar with that, and they're like, "Oh, BCA, blah blah blah," and others like, "What do you mean?" So more education of our guests, which is great. But the Untapped is still that weird phenomenon of people who they know what they like, but they don't necessarily understand the characteristics of the beer and how it would be judged. It's like food. I mean, you can cook 10 steaks and put it on 10 different plates and to 10 different people, and you're going to get 10 different reviews. So there's a difference between a trained palate and then somebody just saying, I like that, I don't really care. Or getting, a sommelier, like, I know all the different wines. I'm certified as a sommelier, but then I'm like, all right, you give me that bottle that costs $700 on the menu. I'm like, hey, I got a $5 bottle of Trader Joe's that's pretty darn good. So,
what's the diff? Yeah.
It can be a little frustrating, for breweries to, with people who don't necessarily know exactly what the style should be, and they're putting reviews on there that the public see. More specifically when they say, oh, our goal is to, hit as many brewers as we can this weekend, and they have a designated driver, which is great. Most of them do, and they have vans. There's beer tours. Some of these people come in on the beer tours because they'll call us and say, hey, I can bring 15 people or 20 people. Do you have room? Oh yeah, sure, bring them. Maybe you can bring them between this time and this time, because we're a little crowded now. So, it all depends. But you can tell, and yes, they have a designated driver, so you're not as concerned, about things like that. You're keeping an eye on it, but, they're getting flights. But if this is their 17th beer of the day and you're rating it, you have no idea what you're tasting.
Yeah. That's actually the one point that people typically don't bring up. And I think that's very poignant and important. Typically what I would say, and tell me if this resonates with you, on top of that, which is probably a big Vermont thing as far as like the people, maybe reaching your spot last on a long day, which happens. I feel like there's and I've spoken to Skylar, the dude who went to Soulmate, who told me about you. So he used to rate things a lot lower. And I'm like, dude, and because he had his own rating system, I'm like, cool, that's fine. But understand that on Untapped, And he's told me since, he's like, I listened to what you said and it makes complete sense. And he's adjusted his sort of rating system from there. I'm like, if you in your mind, because everyone has their own thing, right? 2.5 is 50% of that's a solid beer. But 2.5 on Untapped is going to crush in a bad way. It's going to ruin that beer. And I've been told by brewers, I don't know if you've got to the point yet, but I've had other brewers who have said, oh, they've exporters or importers, I'm sorry, in Europe who won't touch a beer unless it's, for example, 4.2 average. So,
oh, no kidding.
If a beer that's how they do it because they're kind of intense like that. So, a 2.5, and he's like, yeah, I really like it. It was 2.5. I'm like, yeah, that's cool for you, but that 2.5, if you average that out, that's gonna tank that rating. Yeah. It's gonna bring it under 4, for example, and then people will be less inclined to try that beer, and then also people will be less inclined to buy it as far as an importer. Have you experienced that at all?
Not yet. I mean,
not just the importing thing, but just the lower rating thing, I guess, or the custom rating, the way that people rate their shit.
So I don't even look at. I look at Untapped for beer names because before we come out with releasing one of my 1,000, I want to make sure that it's definitely not in use anywhere else. And that's primarily my only purpose for going on there. And we had a unique experience with Untapped. So while we are on there as being rated, we're not on there as a paid brewery. Okay. About 6 months into our construction, I had one of our investors had said, "Oh, you should reach out to Untapped." And so when you get open, because I use it all the time. So I go on their website, I reach out, I get a demo, how it works. And, I told the person that I was speaking with, and, we're in construction phase, and she's like, all right, just let me know when you're getting closer and we can do a refresher and we'll go from there. So 6 months later, she reaches out to me and says, hey, I keep following you on Facebook. I see the pictures of construction progress looking good. I know you're a ways away. I just want to let you know that they're doing a price hike. So I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but breweries have to pay a fee to be on there, to open up, unlock specific features.
Yes.
So I said, all right, well, we're not ready. She goes, no. You can just give me a credit card today. And when you're ready, call back. It'll lock in the rate for 2 years, but call back when you're ready and the clock will start then. So a year passes. We're still under construction. Like I said, 30 months of delays. And I get a statement on a credit card that I haven't used forever. Because at this point, I still don't have a business credit card. I don't need one. We're not open yet. So I open up, it says Untapped, and it's charged again, but even for a higher amount. Well, she's no longer there with the company. Next person I get hold of says, well, let me look into that. That doesn't make sense. He's no longer with the company. Oh my gosh. We get closer to opening, and I'm like, well, this still isn't resolved. So this other person comes out. She goes, let me look into it. And she says, you know what? You signed an agreement with us. And I said, I didn't sign any agreement with you. I said, your business is for breweries to post their beers and the information about their beers. I'm like, you can look at it. I'm like, we're under construction. We have no beers. And I'm like, I'm not asking for a refund at this point. I said, just go into your back end, start date, Soulmate Brewing here.
And credit me what I paid.
And credit me for the next 2 years, and we're good. I've already paid for it technically, right? They refused to do it. I had to get hold of the credit card company.
Chargeback.
Well, they finally, and so the two guys that started Untapped sold to a. Yep. You can't get hold of anybody. So I said, I don't understand, why you guys aren't working with us. You could just adjust the dates. And so anyway, I get an email from somebody higher up in the company. He's like, I've reviewed everything. I've instructed our accounting department to refund the full amount to you. We consider this matter closed. And they immediately, upon doing that, put down that we were permanently closed, on their website. And so I emailed back to them. I said, well, it's okay. I'm glad you refunded our money. I said, makes no sense. You're a business that annuitizes your business by charging an annual fee, but whatever your business model is your business model. But you're now misleading people that we're not open. And I said, you have about 2 seconds to at least say that we're open.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we may own your company. I said, I already took screenshots. I said, you're misleading people, and that's interstate commerce, and so, yeah, they changed it quickly. So, it's unfortunate, it is what it is. So, yeah,
bad taste in your mouth.
They came to me about 6 months later and asked if we wanted some of their products again. I said, absolutely not.
What a shame, man. And this was, so most of the dramas, okay, it sounds like it was pre and post buyout. They only got bought out relatively recently, within the last year.
I'm not. No, I think it's a little longer than that. But
longer than that. Okay.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, the sales reps are great. Chatted with them. I'm like, just fix the deal, and their back end people wouldn't do it. So I was like, yeah, whatever. So yeah, I don't really look at Untapped, but I just, it's the interaction with our guests, and that's why I'm like, you're pretty tipsy. You probably should be rating our beers. So maybe, if the good people of Untapped are there, they should change it. Like if you log in and you rate 5 beers, you can't rate any more than 24 hours. Because if you keep going to breweries,
it's almost like a DUI, but for Untapped.
I mean, you can log your beer,
right?
Because you can say you're there, but you shouldn't be able to rate it.
Fuck, that's an interesting point. Maybe you got to blow on the thing, improve it. I'm really disappointed to hear that. Like, I'm glad you got your money back. First of all, that's actually good, and that you sorted out the opening thing.
Well, yeah, it was like almost $1,600.
That's not a small amount for a company that's trying to open, is bringing in no revenue.
That's what I said. I said we don't have a beer to post on Untapped. You guys are making no sense. The conversation makes no sense with us.
So obviously the first lady was just trying to get her commission and just ran the credit card when she said she wasn't going to,
yes.
which is like, what's the word? Unconscionable and fucking shady as. But I don't know. I got a soft spot for it because I don't even really use it outside of it. It's the best way I found so far to track what I drink and how I feel about it, and like I appreciate what the data that it can deliver.
Oh, 100%.
But then I really don't like hearing that. And I'm seeing, I don't know if you've seen all the backlash recently since they've sold. They added, they've instead of saying beers, it's called drinks now. And they have, you can go Diet Coke, Sprite. You can do Aquafina water. You can check into everything, because since they sold to that Egos company, they've been trying to appeal to, instead of to Soulmate, they're trying to appeal to Applebee's, for example. So they want those larger establishments that aren't they sell beer, but they aren't a beer establishment, to pay them the money that you paid them, and then people who can go in there can check into anything that they go. And the beer people are like on Reddit specifically are like furious about it. Understandably, there is a way to kind of like, you can uncheck the things you don't want to see. And it doesn't. Okay. So as a user, I haven't experienced it. It was only because I looked it up myself because I wanted to see if it was real, and it was real. Diet Coke is on there. And other people just don't like the idea of it. So a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm deleting my account. Or
is it Diet Coke with the polar bears? Or is it...
You know what? They need to probably put multiple check-ins.
I mean, there's got to be a holiday Coke and
the holiday Coke. And what about the Mexican Coke? The Mexican Coke's a good one.
I mean, yeah, exactly, with the cane sugar, 100%.
Did they specify? This is ridiculous. Yeah, so it's pissed a lot of people off. So it's funny. So there's multiple factions. I'm like, it comes up so much because it's funny that, because it got like 12 million users, which is not insignificant.
No,
but it feels like a kick in the nuts to the beer people, to you as a brewery owner, and to me as a passionate consumer, that like, what the fuck are you adding? Like, why can't I check into San Pellegrino or whatever? Like, this is obscene. This is not what it's for. And what am I going to do? This San Pellegrino wasn't sparkling enough. 2.2. Like, come on, man. Like,
the bottle had some dust. It must have been the storeroom.
1.7. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. It's like
it's more like almost... San Pellegrino.
Have you thought about stand-up? Because maybe you should.
Yes.
Have you done it? Have you ever done it?
Standing up behind the bar No, but I do it at the bar every day.
Maybe you could. Should go down to Austin, go and kill Tony right there. Get that 1 minute.
Let's do it. You can be my agent.
Let's go down. Let's get you in that bucket pool. Let's fucking get it on.
Love it.
Well, I'm sorry you had that experience with that, dude. That sucks. But I'm very glad to hear that you did sort it out. But,
you know what? You know what? Life gives you so many twists and turns. I would say disappointing because we ended up paying for. We wanted to broadcast our beers, so we paid for an outside software to put it on our TV, and then we ended up just going to print menus. But I mean, I will say like the platform and the functionality of what Untapped offers all in one house, it makes sense. I mean, they do have, I will say this, they have a nice platform. The business practice behind the scenes and how that interacted with us was like, it was not necessary, especially when I reached out to them and said, hey, just credit us for 2 years. We paid for it. It's fine. So I mean,
work out. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, anyway, let's jump in here, brother. Yes, this is I Drink Me.
I love it.
It's the Irish Red, and so I have there's a couple of things to this Irish Red.
Hell yeah,
and
love
the name
a good Irish Red. Talk to me.
So, a good friend of mine, Scott McHugh. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He and I were both in the Navy, and he was killed in Iraq.
Oh gosh.
But just before that happened, he and I would pop into some Irish pubs and throw down some pints. And
hell yeah.
And when he was going to get back from Iraq, I said, "Why don't you come work with me? I'll have a business going." And unfortunately, it didn't happen. But so he was just such a good guy, just a good jokester to be with, just always light in the room. And he was also a paramedic EMT, so just loved helping people. And then I also meet Carol, my wife, Soulmate, and her, maiden name's O'Brien, so family of Irish, and cheers, brother.
Cheers, legend.
So
look at that head, my goodness.
The Irish, you good redheads.
Yeah. Oh, money. I love these. Okay, so this is kind of like a bit of a dedication to both Carol and Scott.
So it's our Irish friends. I've been to Ireland. Fortunately, I've been to Ireland. And looking forward to going back, and just great people. You go to the pub, and especially I was on active duty in the Navy when I was over there. So like a lot of them were just, oh, I got to buy you a drink. I got to buy every place you went. They were buying us, American, sailors drinks, and which greatly appreciated it. Got introduced to ciders in England. That was nice. And
okay. And did you? I guess I imagine you tried a bunch of the Irish red ales in the motherland, right there.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is such a beautiful beer. And so and then I heard the word, oh yeah, I was drinking so much I got pissed, and I didn't understand. I was young. I'm like, why do you think I'm upset? They're like, oh no, pissed means like drunk. Yeah. So anyway, just kind of like, oh, I'm so good I would drink me was kind of
was one of the jokes.
I'm such a good beer I would drink myself. So that's kind of where I came up. I love this.
That. Oh, I see you've got a. This might even be like there's another one on here. I drink me again and again.
Yes, and then of course there is other tones to the Silence of the Lambs. You see the movie?
Forever ago.
So the guy Wild Bill at the end, doing his transformation, he's standing in front of the mirror, and he's not being polite, with what he's saying, but it's like. Yeah, so I have people coming to the brewery like, I drink me so hard. so I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, there's part of it. It wasn't the main thing, but I was thinking about it as I came up with the name, how that could relate back to Silence of the Lambs in that scene. It's like, I drink me so hard.
He doesn't say drink, does he?
No, he doesn't.
He says the other word. Okay.
The other word. Yes.
Which we can say here because we're friendly with that word. But we don't have to. Okay, dude, that's awesome. I love that. I love that there's a story behind it, and it's got a bronze at the old Denver competition. Fucking smashing it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is a gem. I feel like so Irish Reds are always like they're always compared to. Have you heard of you're a Quebec aficionado, a Roos in Quebec,
Roos, Roos, Roos.
ROUSSE. So it's essentially just a red ale in Quebec, but from what I understand, it's an Irish red mixed with a cream ale. So
Oh,
it's
no
kind
kidding.
of like a little bit lighter. And we always joke because they're like the joke is like, the old man beer. So me and the other beer media dudes always like, Team Roos. We
Huh.
love Roos because they're oh, and this was my first ever favorite style after lagers back getting into beer 15 years ago, probably. Like the first style I loved was amber ale / Irish red because it was not too much of a graduation from a lager, but it had so much more going on.
There's
Just
so much body in it.
yeah, and I feel like then it kind of got passe, and you just keep going through. When you're newer to beer, you get into it, like, wow, these are phenomenal. Then you move on, you go back then, through Belgians and the other color wheels and da da da. Then Haze and West Coast and all the IPAs and all the crazy, pastry stouts and smoothies and all the other crazy stuff comes in. And then now I find that this is just something I'm searching for. Like if every drinking session I could drink some sort of amber ale, that would be an ultimate situation. So I love having these.
And what I appreciate about Hideki's version,
Mm, mm.
it's true
So
to
subtle.
style because
Yes.
I've gone to so many other places because I love a red, and especially in New England, a lot of the breweries, well, let's make everything with extra hops, and you just get this high bitter bite to it. And I'm like, I'm drinking a red. It looks red,
Hmm.
but then it's tasting more like an IPA, and I'm like, you don't have to throw every hops in everything just because we're in New England. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, there's hops in all beers, but there's different kinds of hops, and so yeah, I mean, just solely balanced. As a matter of fact, tomorrow when we open, so our tap room is open Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
We have a maple Irish red on nitro tomorrow pouring for the first time. We've made it before and we sold out of it quickly. So not in cans, but it will be on our nitro line tomorrow. And oh my gosh, I when he makes these beers, I'm like, dude, you're killing me because I leave them for our guests. I'll take a little sip here and there. Don't
Not
drink your
that one.
product. Don't drink the what
Get
do they say,
high
the
off your own
profits,
supply.
right? Right. So I'm like, but he makes these specially limited one-offs here and there that it's great because people come in, hey, what's new? What's new? What's new? They're always asking what's new, and he's always coming up with things that are new, which is beautiful. But I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, just taking this and then pulling a little bit of Vermont into it. I know Vermont and Canada are known for, maple syrup. So but he does like the right amount. It's balanced. It's not too sweet.
Oh yeah.
There's a kiss of it, so it's not taking away from the beer because I've picked up some, maple, stouts and also some maple reds that other breweries make. And you open up that can and you put, if you don't have a glass, you just take a sip and it's like, sticks to you. It's almost like there's so much maple syrup in it. I'm like, I can't taste the beer.
If it's applied incorrectly, definitely maple is a funny one because often it ferments out. But if there's a way to, I feel like there's like tricky ways to do it. You can put them in those maple barrels, or you use some these mushrooms that taste like maple. Or
Whoa, where are you getting these mushrooms? You got to hook me up, man.
I'm pretty sure I got you.
They're magic.
They are indeed. By the way, I just want to tell you on because we're talking about Untapped. So I always check into everything as I go. This tells me that you are not in charge of the Untapped. You're not putting up the descriptions of the beers. So this
No.
is a user based one. This is a description of the beer. Great red. All beers at this brewery are true to style. Great brewery with a great brewer and a really nice owner.
Thank you.
Isn't that cute though? That's not a normal thing to say. That is really weird to say. That's like a fucking Google review in a description of a beer on Untapped. That should tell me what's in the beer. I think that is cute is the best word I can think for it.
No, it's speaking.
I love it.
Did you take a look at our Google reviews before we jumped on here before?
I did not know, but I can. Killing it.
It's we're very grateful for the people who come into our lives.
Oh,
because,
fuck off! You're at 5 for 5. Okay, dude, you are at 5 flat for 555 reviews. That is absolutely unheard of. Sorry, thank you for bringing that up. That is insane.
Yes. every day I say that, but
in the best possible way.
I've had people come in and they're like, I had to come in because this has got to be a scam. Nobody has, reviews like this. And
Not
I
for
said,
500 reviews, dude.
well, and what I said is,
Wow.
I don't have an advertising budget. COVID took my money. COVID, it did. We have investors and it's amazing to have the support we have, but we have to be very diligent with the money we have.
Of course.
Stewards of money. I mean, to have 187 people invest in us, I take that very seriously. My wife and I are the largest investors. I mean, literally our entire life savings are into this because we believe in what we're doing. But we have investors that have 30,000 invested and some down to, minimum is $100. We want to be accessible to everyone who would like to be an investor in the brewery. And, I care just as much as the person who put 100 in as the people that put 30,000 in. And obviously my wife and I putting, about $1.5 million in of our own money to get this going.
Right. Damn.
So like, I don't have money to advertise, so I can do the funny stuff and I can do some videos and some, here and there and, just be the person I am behind the bar. When you meet me, I'm just like, we're chatting. But people ask, like, you got to let people know about you. And I said, how, my marketing is with the cans and to be personable and and engaging when you come into our place. And they're like, you need Google reviews. So like, just when you speak to people and they come in and they enjoy what they're having here and the experience, ask if they wouldn't mind taking a minute or two to, write a review. And I will say, it's probably about a 1% conversion. That some people will do it right there at the bar and like, oh, hey, I just did a review. Others, yeah, I'm going to do it and then never do it, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I get it. It's my priority to get the word out, not yours, and I understand that. And then some days, we'll get 2 months will pass and a review will pop up. And it was like, oh, I was at the brewery 2 months ago. I told them I was going to write a review. I mean, it's just so memorable that it's still stuck with me 2 months later, and I'm writing a review now. And, and if you look at our reviews, I reply to everybody. I thank everybody, even if you just put 5 stars, but most of them have pictures. They write, about their experience. And, so like I said, it kind of goes right back to like, even the investing, like, the community is just so cool. Craft beer lovers are so amazing. They're so welcoming. They're adventurous and willing to try a new brewery. And just, they just share the love with these reviews. So yeah, every day, when I come home and I see a new review and I share that with Carol, I'm just like, right there before we do anything, I thank them, for taking the time to write their review. And, or as I say, we're your soulmates. We're called soulmates, not divorce mates. We're not here to let you down. We're here for you. So I'm just like, so I just think, we connect with people on just a different level and then to see that, it's very touching and humbling. And we're just truly grateful for the support.
Dude, I don't know if I told you either beforehand or off air, I own a social media agency, and we've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing social almost 20 years next year, which is crazy. And one of the key things that people don't do is respond to comments. And we always push it. We have a YouTube channel where we separate to all the beer stuff, where we talk about that a lot. We always encourage people to do it. So what you are doing is textbook perfection as far as responding to every person. Personally, I'm looking at, as you were describing it, I'm scrolling down, and you would say things like, you'd be like, hey, so great to meet you. Like, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, you're not bullshitting. Like, you're like using their name. Hey, Scott, thanks for taking the time to post. So happy to meet you. Like, you're saying this to every single person. So there's a level of that personal attention that in this world that we're about to get into, where AI is everywhere and all we have left is that authentic human one-on-one interaction, you are taking it to another level where you're making people feel so welcome when they come in. Because I'm just scrolling through these and I have to go back up. I'm going to go back up the top. Someone immediately was like, the staff, I've seen multiple things. The staff is so great. I think probably didn't know that you're the owner, which is even cooler that they saying staff when it's you greeting them. We received the warmest welcome from Jonathan. The beers themselves are phenomenal. Like, I'm just quoting from the Google reviews, and I just think the fact that people that you're doing everything right. You've got impeccable product. You've got you there as the ambassador, essentially in the face of the company. That's why we're here tonight. Welcoming people, making people feel very welcome. I imagine explaining anything they need to, getting them exactly what they need, making sure they're happy. You got the killer food, and then they have such a great experience, and they're learning stuff on the table about beer, the whole experience, and then people are motivated. And even if you're asking for it, I think that's wonderful. Any business, and I'm harping on this because this is a lesson to everybody, and we have a decent industry following. So I thank you for explaining this. I think whatever you're doing is exactly what everyone needs to do. Ask for it. But hey, if you have a moment, if you could just do that, it'd be super helpful. Like at the end of the pod, I always say, leave us a review on Spotify, like 5-star review, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It actually is very meaningful to our podcast, right? So it's the same thing to a brick and mortar business. A Google review is key. My girlfriend, if I'm on Uber Eats or whatever, if anything's less than like 4.8, I'm not really like, that's how it's going to be. Same as if you're ordering a driver on Uber or if I'm listening to this is so dumb. We meditate every day. The app on meditation, I never looked at, but my girlfriend was like, if it's less than 4.8, we're not really going to do that meditation. It's fucking meditating, and we're not going to do it.
All right. Well, offline, you got this. Email me this meditation thing because my brewer's like, dude, you need to relax. You need to. I'm like, but every day I'm like, there's a million things to do. He's like, you need to either meditate or do yoga. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about it because I'm just 100 miles an hour. I'm like, as I said, we have we take the responsibility of what we're doing so seriously. I'm like, I don't have time to rest. He goes, you need to rest because you're no good if you're sick. He's
not wrong. It's not even about being sick. It's almost about like clearing your mind and just sort of being focused on what you need to do. Now, I don't see any of those things that you like need that, but I feel pretty calm about everything every day, and you sort of just like, it gives you, and you take anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. I'm not doing it for long. It's nothing crazy. 5 and 10 minutes, and you can pick the topic, and people talk about that, and they go, okay, and they tell you what to do and stuff. It's really nice. And he's right though. It is good to kind of like, I feel like if I'm ever like stressed, I feel like I could sit there for 30 seconds and you just breathe, and I'm able to lower my heart rate and be like, all right, we're good. Like, it's almost like funny that you can do that.
And that's what my wife Carol says. You just breathe. I'm like, I am, because the lungs are filling. She goes, no, like, body, take it in. Like, just like,
and it's like, it's a good thing to do I don't always do this if I'm honest, but the intention, I do it every day in bed before I get up, but I'm supposed to do it before I fuck around on my phone. You get the phone and you're supposed to wake up. I'm like, cool, straight to the meditation app, and you do it before you're distracted with the world, because then your brain starts going everywhere. So the idea would be to do that, and then you can, I do a lot of, what do you call it? Abundance / manifestation stuff. I believe in that a lot. So you just like, all right, and a lot of them they're guided ones. So there's usually someone telling you, all right, lie down, and sometimes put your hand on your heart center and and you breathe, and tells you to breathe, and then you just sort of like, all right. Some of them like tell you, picture a gold light coming out of your there, and then that means blah blah blah. And they walk you through different stuff, and it's nice, and it gets you sort of just like, what am I here for? What am I focused on? Almost big picture, not even like day-to-day stuff. And it just keeps you like, I've done it like 2000. The one day I fucked up was right before COVID, March the 7th, 2020. I was in Vermont, and I went to Hill Farmstead for the first time. And that day I even forgot my camera when we went there. I was so mad. And I forgot to meditate, and it broke my streak. But I'm on like 2,100 and something days in a row. And that was up until then, but it would have been more if I didn't fuck that one day up, because it was Vermont, unfortunately, because I was so happy to be there. But yeah, it's really nice, and it's like a little it's like a nice little thing that rewards you with streaks. You know how everything's gamified these days. But yeah, it's nice and all of that to say. So I'll tell you off air about that one. But
Yeah.
it's really cool that you've got that you're asking for the Google review, because if people go to Vermont, and I think this is even the important point, is that Vermont, as you have pointed out earlier, is that there's a brewery every 4 steps in Vermont, and not only a brewery, like an exceptional brewery everywhere. So the competition is high.
It is.
People are excited to be there, and they could go anywhere. So Google
But
reviews do make a difference.
and the nice thing is, like, not every brewer is the same. So, like,
Very different. Yeah.
some are geared more towards distribution. They have a tasting room. Others have like food and a sit down, like what we have. Um, you know, it's there's so everything's unique. Which is cool. Some are in old funky buildings like ours. Others have the mega bucks because they were in early enough, and have been around 20 years and build these beautiful facilities with mahogany this and that, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. One of these days, it'd be nice to say, hey, I guess we made it because we're there. But it is. I mean, I know they say competition. It's but like, we're friends with a lot of the different breweries, and it's kind of cool to have the support. I mean, I'll throw a shout out right here, for our friends at Mill River Brewing in St. Albans. I mean, those folks.
We've had them on, yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Twice,
yeah. So, I mean, literally, Dave and his wife, I mean, they spent hours with us, discussing the industry and, things that we, should avoid, things that we should, focus on. I mean, just based on their experience. I mean, and their place is open and people are running around, and there's just spending time with, Carol and myself, and just, let's, what? I was like, they're like, well, let's just grab a beer and go in the back by the brewing equipment so we can free up this table so guests can sit down. And then they spend more hours with us. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely breweries and, that are like, oh, you opened up and now that's taking business away from us. But for the most part,
right?
A lot of the breweries have been very cool. And, yeah, it is a pretty awesome community. 100%.
I love hearing that, and that's really cool that they're the ones that they did that. I was looking for the first time we had them on, we did it there pre-COVID, and like a year before COVID, and it was like all of them, and it was chaotic. It was super fun, but it was chaotic. What I'm trying to find the second pod that I did is, hang on, this is the one here with yeah, this is it. Terry and is it Levon?
Yep.
That
yes.
Yeah. So they're great folks. I'm very happy to hear that. One thing, because you mentioned earlier about promoting and marketing, and one of the things that came to mind is one of the greatest ways I think in beer to do that is collaboration. When you went up to Quebec, did you end up doing that collaboration that you talked about when you got hassled by the border?
Not yet. So it's our brewer. So I kind of make the connections because I'm the social one, right? Mm-hmm. And introduce the brewer, and then they set up back channels, collaborating on different things, and then we discussed the option of, do we do the same beer? Do we come up there and brew with them? Do they come down with us? Some of them have other collaborations going, so like they have a backlog, and it may be a little while until we finally get that first beer, but Hideki has been working and discussing things with the brewers on what we should do first. I said, we don't have to do one at the same time. We can come up and have a brew day with you there, take pictures, enjoy the day, have lunch, when we're not cleaning and scrubbing things, because, brewing is 90% cleaning. So, be there, actually be part of it. And then, we can have that release. And then, 6 months later, we can do a different collaboration and do it in Vermont. Like, so we don't have to, I will say some of the breweries, some of them aren't happy to come down to Vermont right now too. They've brought up some of the potential issues there, the potential for some harassment at the border, and I said, I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm like, I can't live my life based on fear. It's like, I get it. It's not pleasant. I'm like, if you have some guy, but I mean, you're literally coming down to talk about beer. I mean, it's like, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to come to Vermont. But I do get it that tourism making its way down has slowed up a little bit, due to certain political issues. And, and I know that like even the monetary side of things, I mean, my wife and I have gone up there and, we have a few credit cards that don't charge, conversion fees, if you use it, out of the US. And the conversion rate, I think, with the Canadian dollar is still not the greatest. So, I don't know. It'd be nice if we got the Canadian dollar and US dollar back more on par with each other. And, because we have amazing friends that come down from Canada and we see sporadically, but not as frequently, but like I said, we're good friends, so we let them know we're coming to Canada. So, we try to say hello when we get there. So that's always cool.
I like that. Yeah, I feel like I agree. I feel like this would be, and maybe it's different because we're on Nexus, but I almost feel like the Americans give us zero, like touch wood, like zero hassle. I feel like because of the, like everything you just said, like even the folks out that I go and see in Lewiston, my friend Chris owns this store called Brewed and Bottled out there. And I was like, yo, how's it going? Like, cause I was like, yo, I read online, they're like, oh, the Canadians are going to fuck us when we come back and we bring anything back. There's like this automatic 25% duties and whatever. And he's like, oh no, I've spoken to a bunch of Canadians.
Really?
They don't do it. I know they haven't done it. Like, once again, touch wood, it's been fine. But I was like, what's the deal? Like, how? He's like, oh, it's dropped significantly. We went to, I took my mother-in-law to get to get her Nexus, the card I was talking about earlier, in June. And I went to the Brewed and Bottled, and my girlfriend and her went for a walk, and they went to this little art store. And the art store was actually a Canadian lady who'd married an American and lived out there. And she said we were the 6th, 7th, and 8th, the three of us Canadians had seen. That was in June all year. And normally it would be RAM. So I think the Canadians have pulled back a lot. And I would argue that the American border people are nicer to us because they're like, they understand the value of the tourism. Because if we're going in there, I'm going to spend money. We're going to Trader Joe's. We're going to go to independent stores. We're going to go to a restaurant. We're going to spend money. We don't come out of there. You spend hundreds of dollars every time we go, like probably minimum 500 just on, even if you include the currency conversion, food.
Oh, yeah.
And bring some stuff back. You're going to get some groceries. We usually throw down on Trader Joe's because we only go like once a month, every 6 weeks. So we're going to go down and stock up. So I would hope that they would be nicer to people. And the Canadians definitely withdrew a little bit, which is a shame because, like, at the end of the day, politics aside, small business owners are small business owners. Like, regardless of all of that, like, no one wanted any, I don't think anybody wanted any friction between Canada and America. We're neighbors. Historic, 100%, exactly. It's the longest unprotected, was it unmilitarized border in the world? We good, bro. We're all the same. That's what we were saying earlier. Like, we love each other. I'm like, no one wants any. So it is a shame to hear that. But
well, and that's why we try to go out for like lunch. Right now, Monday is the only day that my wife and I have off together. Just the nature of the business.
Gotcha.
Working on the weekends, and she's working during the week too. So we take Monday to ourselves, but we'll drive up to the border and show our passport to come in. And what are you doing? Like, we're going to come support our brothers and sisters north, and we're going to go have lunch at one of the breweries. And then coming back, it's funny to have the American side, like, what were you doing in Canada? Like, we went up to have lunch. Did you have anything to drink? Yes, we had beer. Well, how many beers do you have? I'm like, 2 or 3, but we had lunch. Are you okay to drive? Well, I got here. I'm like, I'm in a marked truck that says Soulmate Brewing coming in. I'm like, okay, yes, I'm fine to drive, but thank you for your concern.
I'm a professional. I've been doing this a while. I know my limits. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
It's all a shame. But all of that to say, so maybe there's some a little bit of hesitancy temporarily from Canadians. Have you done anything locally, whether it's Vermont or anywhere else around in the stateside?
As far as
collabs? No,
not yet. I mean, we've been so busy and focused on trying to, get the word out about us that, I mean, we visit, I'm from Florida originally, been here 16 years. So, I mean, we chat with other breweries like Florida or Tennessee, but I mean, that's a distance. So, I mean, we're trying to work with, like I said, our Canadian friends, Dunham Brewing right across the border.
Oh, LOL. Yeah, he's a G.
Yeah, so I mean, they're there.
Do you know Bad
Kanawha.
Bones? Oh, Kanawha, you know Drew?
Yeah, Drew. Yeah, right there on the Indian reservation. Yeah.
We just had. He was the last part I did. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, no, they're
Drew's
awesome.
the homie from before he even owned. He used to be the president of the Montrealers homebrew club. He's
Nice.
like the homie. I love that you know that. That's amazing. Okay, who
Yeah.
else?
So on one of our trips that we flew out of Montreal on our way back, we took that route specifically
To go to
to
Kanawha?
go to that brewery, and
Fuck
went in
yeah.
there, and then that's why as we were tasting their beers, I'm like, oh, we'll have to come back and bring our beers, and that's the one where the Border Patrol on our way bringing beers to go do a tasting with them with Soulmate beers had us wait for an hour at the border.
Okay. All right. So Drew and Keegan and Sam and the dudes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, those
They're
guys
good
are
people.
amazing.
Really
They're
good people.
Phenomenal people, and their beers are exceptional. The food's amazing. I'm
Mhm.
so happy that that's who you connected with. Dunham's amazing. Bad Bones is right over the border too.
Okay.
There's so many. As in like on the right on that South Shore and stuff. There's so much going on up there that would.
And then there's another funky one, Memento Brewing in Montreal.
Yes, they opened just before we left, so I didn't really get to know what they were all about. But they're like on the Sudwest, near Missouri.
Yeah, there's a walking path and so.
Yeah, the canal by the canal,
yep,
right? Yeah,
yep.
Machine Canal. Fuck,
It's so funky in there, like how they have it all set up, like the lamps and the tables, and it's just highly recommend checking them out for the cool funky vibe.
I love that. Oh man, like I love that you're focused on that, and there's so many people out here that would love what you're doing as well. Because I know the Ontario folks are, and I think it's almost more obsessed with Vermont because it's a little further, and
let's connect and do some collabs with them. I'm down.
I'll connect you with anybody I know. I would love, like, we can talk about it. I'd be more than happy. I think this is what I want to see, because I'm not from Canada, not from Ontario, Quebec, all the places I've lived. Like, I'm always sort of like, what's going on? Like, but back when I first moved here, I feel like people weren't really collabing like they should. I was like, what's happening? And then over time, I felt like it definitely started to ramp up a bit, and people started to connect a lot more, and it's beautiful. And then we've got New York State and Vermont and Maine too, like all this New England area, which has got arguably some of the best beer on the planet. And Canada is no slouch, and we're fucking killing it up here too. So it's so cool to be able to share that information and like and just spread I think those collaborations are such a phenomenal marketing thing. Coming back to what we were saying earlier, for you particularly as a not brand new, but coming up on 3 years in July, like newer brewery that. I don't know. Canadians I'm just so happy that you connected with those people, particularly.
Yeah.
Just,
Me too.
they're great folks, and yeah, man. There's so many people that would love it. I love it. Do you want to take a real quick bathroom break? And then
if you'd like to, sure.
I'm at the point. I feel like it's time.
It's gonna break the seal.
I know. I don't want to break the seal, but I'm like, I don't know how much. I'm trying to be responsible. All right, we'll take a quick pause, and we'll be right back.
Sure.
We are back. And we are doing, Johnny, you are not messing. I love the way you've been moving us forward tonight. Thank you so much.
Well, it's funny because we talked about the Swans and their head coming together with the way they're so like I thought that the Vienna Lager.
Oh, this is what I've been looking forward to a lot, because there we go.
Yeah.
Massive fan of Vienna Lagers and the two Swans kiss. That's exactly what I was talking about.
I had the heads come together like a heart. I'm like, so I call it I'm a keeper.
Perfect. I love it. Vienna Lager. Huge fan of this one. Here we go. It says on the thing, the SARS. It's got SARS, like Czech SARS. Perfect.
Yeah.
And
we won a gold medal with this one too.
Of course you did.
I'm sorry.
Hey, no, I love it. It's on there. Yep.
Oh yeah,
dude. That's what'd you say? 23 medals, was
it? 30.
30. What am I saying? 23.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Come on. Sorry, that was rude of me. I won't let that happen again. Yeah, tell us about this one, brother.
Ooh. It's delicious.
That's what we need to know.
It's funny. So we are so I live in Stowe. My house is the next ridge line down from where the Trapp family lodge is.
Oh, up there. Okay.
And so obviously they're known for
Crispies.
yes, so they're known for different, European style beers. And so people come into our brewery, especially the same guests who come in that we really want them to read the tabletop tents that we have, with the information on beer and the educational side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come in and be like, you have a Helles. How do you have a Helles? Or you have a Vienna. How do you have a Vienna? And I'm like, well, we made it. Why? Well, we just came from the Trap Beer Hall, and well, they have a Helles in Vienna. So how could you have a Helles in Vienna?
Okay.
I'm like, they don't have a corner on the market.
No, we're allowed to make them too. So,
but no, I mean, I don't know what their marketing is, going on up there. If they have people convinced like we are the only Helles in the world or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But it's nice when people taste, the difference. Like one town over, and they come try ours, and and the compliments that we receive. So I mean, for just to be in good company with other breweries that, are known for different things, and just proud of what Hideki makes. I mean, it's just, I like this beer, like, especially if you get a 4-pack, kind of like the stouts, browns, take it out of the fridge and let it sit for 20 minutes, 30 minutes before you even open the can, let it warm up a bit, because, your fridge is, 34, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, this beer should be 55, 57, 60 degrees.
oh shit. Okay. Cheers, legend.
Mm.
Hell yeah. God, I love Vienna lagers. Fuck, they're good. This is phenomenal. I don't know. The amber lagers, dude, you get me with these. This is so good. It's exactly what it needs to be. It's got that nice little SARS, like punchy, zippy, peppery thing going on. Great caramel toffee malt balance. It's 5.5, so it's a little on the, like, I guess on the higher side, because it's above 5. But it's super malty, great sweetness. Even just off one sip, you can get that.
This is why we love Hideki.
Yeah. Oh, this is pretty. Is this a newer beer?
No, we've had this. We've had this from day one.
There's hardly any check-ins to this. I'm a keeper, right?
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay. People are fucking up, dude. They're not checking in.
I'm gonna have to get on them on that. They walk through the door.
Like, check in, give it 5. Yeah.
They have a big sign there at the brewery as they're checking. The beatings will continue until the check-ins happen.
I think that's fair. I'll be like, sure, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes,
give me more beer.
Yes, and if you go on Untapped, you have to show us the ratings before we charge you, because there's a surcharge for being crappy.
If it's under 4, I'm talking there's an extra, 30%.
It's 30%. Yeah,
it's a little rude. It's a little rude.
Maybe we should make our own tariffs. Right, 50%.
Our
own tariffs. It's
untapped tariffs.
Untapped tariffs. The lower the rating, the higher the tariffs are on your tab.
It's a sliding scale, but sliding that way.
Yeah, gratuity not included.
That's a good way to run a business. I feel like it could work.
Could Vermont actually tax us on tariffs? I mean, there's tax on alcohol and food, but I don't think there would be a tax on tariffs. Maybe we should just tariff the shit out of everything.
Why can't you? What are they going to do? It's a tariff. You got tax. Tariff.
Apparently, they're free flowing these days. Everyone's doing it.
Everyone's
all the cool kids are.
So why can't breweries? I feel like you got to get in on that action, brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck. It'd be rude not to.
My accountant will be like, "No, we're taxing you on that." I'll be like, "Damn it, I knew it."
Maybe we should shoot him an email real quick before him. Get that sorted. This is money though. This is fantastic. I feel like, okay, this is a question for you. I know it's across the board from the beginning. You do everything really well. What would you say that Soulmate does? Like, if I was to come to you, drink a bunch of stuff, and go see a friend, what would you hope that I would say? Oh, Soulmate? No, they do X. They are experts in X. Do you have like a feeling, thought, hope with that?
Well, I mean, you just scroll through a lot of the the Google reviews. I let everyone else speak for us, especially through those. I mean, it's the when people come into like, what should I try? What are you known for? I'm like, everything. And they're like, what? Everything. And I'm like, and so a lot of folks love the fact that we have flights. Some breweries don't do flights. And I think it's a mistake. They're a lot of work. They really are. Cause I mean, you're filling up these and you got to wash them and like, there's putting it all together. And, we've gotten some days, moments, which are great when they happen, where it's like, I like to do a flight. I'm like, I have no extra staff. Like, I could do half pours, but we're not doing flights at the moment. Just I want everyone to have a good experience. So I don't want you waiting 30 minutes for a beer because I'm making 10 flights. But one of the nicest compliments that we do receive because of the number of flights we do and make on when we're open is the common theme is, I get a flight to try and find one beer that I like so I can get a full pour, or get a full pour. And as you've been tasting, throughout our conversation, the most common compliments that we get are that I like everything I'm trying. It's usually, I get a flight of 4 or 6 and I try to find something. And sometimes some breweries, we don't find anything we like. And, sometimes we find just one and they're like, we're happy with our choices. And we'll get husbands and wives, they'll come in, or husbands and husbands, or, wives and wives, girlfriend, and
the whole
we get every person that comes in, and some of them, like a group of 4 they'll get 4. Like, well, why don't we get 4? I'll get 4. You get 4. You get 4. And there's 16 beers, and then they all try them, and literally, like, they're like, oh my gosh, like we just went through 16 beers, and everybody in our party, people who don't drink an IPA are like, that's really tasty, or people who don't drink a wheat beer, they taste the Hefeweizen, like, oh my gosh, I never knew I liked Hefeweizen. So, I mean, it makes us smile knowing that we're seeing them smile, and so, yeah, I can't say that there's any particular, like, I can say what I love. I mean, I love stouts, and we're getting to that because we're working to the darker beers. We're about to get to the 3 of my favorites, which
let's go.
Which we're doing this at home, because the last one I will probably sip on after we hang up because I can't pour it down the drain. I just can't. That would be a crime.
It's going to be a sipper out. I saw that and I was like, well, if we do 09, we're going to be sipping that for a bit afterwards, and that is completely fine.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
It's, like, no, it is. And like I said, I don't know what planet they beamed our brewer down from, but I told him, I said, I got to put the kryptonite around your ankles because they can't take you back.
Make sure that visa's extended.
Well, and it's not even that. I mean, well, gosh, I mean, we're hoping there's not going to be an issue. Even just kind of going back to the shares, and we have shareholders. The first Christmas that Hideki and Harumi were here, it's not the first Christmas. We had them over Christmas, but it was about a year because they got here in like September.
Okay.
So
22.
Yes. So we opened at 23. Christmas of 23, they came over to the house, and my wife and I handed them a stack of papers, and they're like, oh, what's this? I said, I'd like you guys to sign it. And they're like, well, what are we signing? I said, you're now shareholders.
Okay.
And, under federal law here in the U.S., you can gift per person like up to like $20,000 without it triggering a tax. And I said, you're not building this brewery for us. We're building this together, and you can't be together if you're not a shareholder. So my wife and I, not out of the stock that's allocated for shareholders for the stock offering that we have, but out of our own personal shares, we paid our lawyer to draft up the documents and take shares that my wife and I personally own and gave it to them as a gift for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And we said, you guys, we're actual Soulmate family, and
that's so kind.
They were like blown away, and that made our day even more. I was like, you guys, you can't build this And that's another thing, like, we're setting this up, like once we do start hiring other people, we want our staff to be able to, work towards that. I mean, you got to get to know somebody. Like, I mean, these guys came here not brewing beer, became carpenters with us until we could brew beer. So, you get to know somebody very well. And you can see, like, even Harumi, our brewer's wife, she's here on a spousal visa. He's here on the work visa. And she showed up the first day to the brewery. My wife and I had to sign for an apartment for them because, they didn't have social security numbers. We got their place decorated, asked them, I was like, what color does he like? What color does she like? So like I picked them up, they flew to Montreal, took the bus down to Burlington, and they're like, oh, we should probably stop at like Walmart and Target. And so we're going in there. I was like, oh, you don't need to buy that. You don't need to buy that. You don't need to buy that. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like,
trust me.
So we get to their apartment. It's like full, yeah, I mean, just, we wanted to show them how much we appreciate them taking a chance. I mean, yes, we're taking a chance on a brewer who we couldn't taste his beer, because he was in Mexico and couldn't ship it to us. But we wanted to show them from the day they landed here in the U.S. how much we appreciate the chance and the risk that they're taking to come here to do this too, and I mean, couldn't think of a better way than to make them actual, shareholders in the company with us.
That is beautiful, brother. You were telling me off air, actually, we haven't touched on it in any depth here, about the actual structure of the shareholder thing. So do you want to maybe explain what you told me off air, and we can go a little deeper into that? Because it's like it's a fascinating, what do you want to call it? Like setup for a business that I haven't personally heard of before.
Yeah, exactly. So we were we're in Stowe, and we're at there's a antique British invasion car show here, and we're walking down the street with some friends that are also business owners, and brought up what I'm working on. And, they mentioned, well, if you need any money, we'd love to invest. We've known you for a little while, and we didn't know each other until we moved up here, but they're like, we've known you for a little while. We'd be very interested in, investing in the brewery if you need money. So I said, okay, well, let me finish the business plan and see what we need, if we need anything, and then we can go from there. So we put it together, and, of course, they kept checking in, how's things going, how's the plan going, and I said, we could take in some money. Here's what we're thinking, because originally this was before COVID, so we thought we were going to start off with a much smaller system. I purchased the building with a friend of mine, which is a big deal. A lot of breweries, unfortunately, that you see go out of business are leasing. The people don't renew their lease, and they kick them out, and, when you set up a brewery, sometimes the setup costs more than the equipment. Yeah. You can't really justify that in a building you don't own. So I already own the building, so we had that going for us.
That's so good.
Yeah, I mean, we have a little bit of a mortgage left, but owning the property is a big deal. And
almost unheard of. In 10 years of doing this, 450 episodes, almost unheard of.
Well, and that's what I was also, sharing with the investors. While the real estate is not part of it, that's a separate LLC with a buddy of mine. My agreement with him is I manage the property. We have 7 tenants. We have offices above the brewery I rent out. I have other sections of the property that I can rent out, so helping cover the overhead.
Of course.
So we come up with a plan. These guys are, higher net worth, and so we ended up taking 5 different investors that were accredited investors. But as word got out that we were offering shares, people were coming up to us and saying, hey, I can't put in 25,000, but I can put in 2,500. I can put in 1,500. I can put 5,000. And so a buddy of mine that I served with in the Navy, his girlfriend worked for a biotech company who just raised a few $1 million through Regulation CF crowdfunding, where you can offer shares. You can do preferred shares, common shares, convertible. So I reached out to the company that they went through, and lo and behold, they're like, yeah, no, breweries, absolutely. We would absolutely be interested in having you be part of the platform. So different set of documentation, went back to our securities lawyer, and then he redid it. And that opened up the door to where we're at. So, I mean, we wanted to have a brewery and yes, my wife and I are the largest investors with what we've put in, capital and sweat equity. But we wanted our brewery to be community owned, meaning people who love craft beer, the craft beer community, could have a stake in us. If they believe in what we're doing and see our vision and like our vision, you could join us on this journey together. And we went to a point where, it's open. Anybody, you can put a minimum of $100 in. You can put 50,000, you can put 100,000. And so, we wanted to be accessible to everybody. And the beautiful thing is you can own shares. We opened it up to all countries. We didn't restrict it. There's like trade issues or whatever, but like there's probably 300 countries that are eligible to invest, through this platform. So we do have some investors in Canada, Australia, which is pretty cool. So we did have somebody put in from Switzerland. I just need to check because I can go back and look and see if they closed it yet, because you're eligible to close. But yeah, right now it's open, and the QR code is on the can, and I can actually get that if you wanted to add that into the podcast.
People could probably scan this from the screen.
Yeah. It looks pretty good. But yeah, you could scan that, or you can go to our website, soulmatebrewing.com, and then in there it's investors. So there's a link that goes right to WeFunder, to our page, and you can invest, directly through there. And as I say to anybody, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. You can call me, you can email me. We can set up a time for a call. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy if anybody's close enough, to us to come and visit, try the beer, try before you buy. You can definitely take the Google reviews. There's enough people on here that have been very nice to, share that. So, it is a security, so we can't promise anything, due to regulations like that, as far as the return, but we are just busting our tail every single day. Like I said, my brewery yells at me to take time, meditate, yoga, whatever. But I literally eat, breathe, and sleep what we're doing. Love what we're doing, and just excited. We have 187 investors right now, and we would absolutely love if we, can turn that into 1,000 investors, where we have an army of people who just love what we're doing, an army of soulmates, helping spread the word about what we're doing, and we'll grow the sucker.
Dude, Army of Soulmates is a cool name for the pod too. We got so many tonight. You've been like dropping gems, brother. So
this is what I do. It's how I come up with beer names. So I'll help you out all day long.
You just that's the marketing brain right there. I love it. So I love this concept, and I've seen it before with some friends in the States, but they had like a what do you want to call it? Like it was restricted to American investors only. So I do love, personally, being that obviously we're here in Canada and you've got investors all over the place, that anybody can get involved. Like if somebody comes by, or they watch this pod, or they just find you online and they just think it's dope, they can get involved. I'm looking at the WeFunder right now. One of the questions that I had that kind of almost got answered as I was scrolling just down the page was, if somebody invests whatever it is, just say $1,000, is it like a long-term thing? Is there dividends annually? Like how does it work, if you're able to describe that in any way?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And, as a security, we can't promise a return. So it is long-term. You got to be long-term focused. We're 2.5 years in since our doors opened. Our ultimate goal is, let's say by year 5 or 6, is to allocate like 2 to 3% of our sales into an account, not touch it. By then we should have a lot of, the remaining debt stuff paid off and be in a better position. Like we see our numbers, like even while the craft beer industry sales have been down 4% generally across the board, right? Mm-hmm. Our sales have been up 12%.
Amazing.
As more people find us. So, that's like a, 12 minus 4, we're 16% of, differential between the national trend and where we're at, So I do believe, give us another 3.5 to 4 years, we could be at a point where we can set 2 to 3% of our gross sales, excluding sales tax and stuff we got to put to our actual sales, set that aside in no account. And at the end of the year, because we do an annual shareholder update and, investor update, that if that money makes sense to either offer buying shares back at a higher price where the company would be valued, an independent evaluation is done, or a dividend, or does it make sense? Hey, listen, I'm just throwing a random number out there, but hey, we have 50,000 saved up here. Does it make sense? Does this get us further and increase the value of the company by putting it towards X? Or do we say, hey, we have $50,000 here. We can buy shares. The shares right now are, $5. There's some discounted for early bird investors to come in, like $4.50 a share. Let's say the valuation of the company is $7 or $8 at that point. Hey, $50,000 is the first X number that come in here to claim that, we can buy those shares back at that price. So it could be a combination of dividend, share repurchase, or does it make sense to reinvest that in, and it enhances, the value of the company because we've expanded and done more. So there's just different options that will be available, but it's going to be a little down the road. I mean, we have to get where we're going to be able to get stuff back, again, the nice thing is, while there's risk, and there is always risk, owning the building, not worrying about a landlord kicking us out, we've mitigated some of the risk, but there's always risk, and, but if you believe in us, you believe in, as Navy veteran, so whether you want to support us because you love craft beer, whether you support us, for the military side of thing, I believe, obviously I wouldn't have taken all the money that I've saved up over my lifetime to put into this, so I believe in what we're doing, strongly. And, and I wish I could offer a guarantee. I just can't, just legally I can't, but you have my guarantee that I'm getting up every single day to do the best job that I can. And my brewer's doing the best job that he can to produce what we can to get the most amazing product, best experience, and then, take this beyond the borders of Vermont.
I love it, man. That's an honest appraisal of exactly what's going on. And I just think it's so sick that people can do that, and that there's like kind of like the way you say like an army of soulmates is a cool way to look at it, because there's so many people who just believe in the brand and believe in what you're doing. The product, look, we're 6 beers deep. We've still got 3 more to go.
Speaking of that,
let's get into that actually, and then we can keep gassing it up. What are we saying?
We're going to the brown, English brown.
English fucking brown. Let's do it. Is that the blue one? There he is. There we go. Shave Beaver Brown.
You're about to get down on my Shave Beaver Brown.
I thought you'd never ask.
So the funny thing about this beer is
he's not the name.
No. So, I have a taxidermied beaver at the brewery.
I saw pictures of it on Google review. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, that's Steve the Beeve. And
Steve the Beeve. Big Steve.
So Steve the Beeve has been there since before we opened up our doors. I actually trapped him. He was a nuisance beaver on our property and was flooding my neighbor's property.
Oh.
Yeah, he was number 13. I've never trapped a day in my life.
Okay.
But they chopped down like 60 trees on my property.
The beavers did?
Oh, yeah. Turns out there was 13 of them.
Oh. So you got him?
Oh, well, like I said, I've never trapped. So we called the game warden and we're like, hey, we have a problem. He goes, yeah, I'd say you have a problem.
Okay.
And he's like, well, you need to trap. I say, well, I don't trap. He's like, well, you're going to learn or it's going to cost you a lot of money. Okay. So anyway, fast forward 2 weeks and I finally get all these guys. And I was like, he was so big, I stuffed him and brought him to the brewery. Okay.
So when you say excuse my extraordinary non-rural, I want to learn about this stuff. That's why I'm asking. So when you say trapping, it's just like fucking you literally set big traps and the beavers come out of the lake and
they go in it and they don't go back.
They go back, and do they?
It's quick.
Do they get murked in the trap, or do they what do they do in the trap? Do they get lured in and then they die in the trap, or they die after they've been in the trap?
No, it's a good question. No, it's a quick thing. So basically, these traps are designed to go. So beavers, well, they live in the water. They have to come out obviously to get their trees
Okay.
and their branches, and they chew. Um, beavers' teeth continue to grow, so it's kind of like a horse. So they have to chew to keep their teeth from growing back into their bodies. So when they leave the water and go on land, they make these runs to go back in. So they grab sticks. They literally grab sticks and slide into the water, holding onto the sticks. So what you do is you put these traps at the end of the run, either right at the edge of the water or right into the water. So they literally slide into it and then it snaps. So picture a big mouse trap, a more powerful mouse trap that snaps.
Gotcha.
It snaps and it's done.
It's done quick and easy. Boom,
It's
boom.
quick. Yeah, it's quick.
And they're nuisances because, look, excuse me once again, excuse
Sure.
your ignorance. They're nuisances because they leave the water and they fuck up the trees on the property to the point where it's like maybe I know it's Vermont. I was about to give an example of something tropical, but maybe there's a tree that you got an apple or something. You grow an apple tree and they just come and fuck up that apple tree. They chew it, break it down. They bring that bitch into the water to build that dam. Is that what they do?
They do prefer hardwoods, so maples, birch, ash, things of that nature. They will take down a soft tree like a pine, but they prefer not to. And then they make their dams. So yes, these beavers, which is the inspiration behind Steve the Beav, chopped down.
Steve.
Cheers to Steve. He was a worthy adversary. They flooded my neighbor's property, who's also an investor. So he calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, my backyard's underwater. It looks like you're missing a bunch of trees on your property." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because my house is on a hill and his is below mine on the other side of the creek. And they literally dammed this creek up 7 dams and flooded the place. And he had to have his like septic pumped like almost every other day because there was no place for the water from their house to go. So taking showers, no. Laundry, no. Like there was no place for the outflow from their house because their backyard was literally underwater.
And that's what. Okay, so why? This is like 101 nature. Like once again, I'm beavers aren't in Australia, so I don't even know that much about them. So they come in. Why do they make the dams? Why do they keep fucking up the flow of the river?
They don't like the sound of running water. You can literally take a Bluetooth speaker, put it on the grass, and play running water, and they will come out and try to cover it up.
Okay. So that's the only reason. There's no other, and they just like would fuck up so are they ruining ecosystems or are they contributing to it?
Both.
Okay, so they can.
So if you have a house and it's flooding your house, they're messing it up. If you don't have a house, they're making a nice wetland. They're doing good. So it's a combination of trying to live
flood
with
shit. It's just they flood shit. So beavers flood shit.
They rear out water and flood stuff, and it is beneficial, but not when your house goes underwater.
Right. So therefore, it's really funny. As you were talking, I found the picture of him at the bar here. Of
Steve
it says,
the Beav.
"Be very careful, damn it. Have a designated driver."
Yeah, you're supposed to have a designated driver sign. So I had that custom made, and when I had Steve mounted, I said, "I want the beaver standing up." And she goes, "Well, most people that get a beaver taxidermy is crawling." I said, "No, he's going to hold my designated driver's sign at the brewery." And so she's like, "Okay, I'll find him out to get him kind of standing up a little bit." I said, "Thank you."
Thank you. That's all we need. That's fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Okay.
I need Steve. I need Steve Standus Erectus.
Steve the Beav. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Okay, this is hilarious.
So yes,
so
Hideki makes an English brown ale. He did it on the pilot system.
Okay,
it sold out faster than you could shake a stick. It was gone, and we had so many people like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't had an English brown ale like that. Please tell me you're going to make it again." So I went back to Hideki. I said the feedback on this beer is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, well, he has a different schedule, you know, for like production stuff versus, you know, experimental stuff for a small batch. And so a few months later, he's like, hey, I made another batch of English brown ale if you want to put the word out. So people flocked back in. Oh my gosh, please put this in a can.
Oh, okay.
All at the same time, I got people asking me, well, you have, you know, Hops in Bed with Strangers. I do have a tribute to Camel Sump the Mountain in Vermont. Which we haven't tasted. We'll do that. We can do that another time. We did a milkshake IPA, so I've got Dancing Cows, you know, for the label for that one because there's lactose in it. And then, but everyone's like, well, when are you going to do a tribute to Steve, who's sitting on that case? So on the third batch, Hideki's like, all right, I'm going to order the ingredients to do a larger batch of the ale, the brown ale. I said, okay, let me think of an idea. And I said, well, it's brown and he's brown. So that's where you get the English top hat, the bow tie. And I said, oh, my artist, Gina, I said, shave his face. And she goes, what's a shaved beaver look like? I said, well, Gina, as far as a rodent goes, I have no idea. Just give me a shaved beaver, would you? And
I feel like that's accurate.
You know,
relatively shaved. I don't know if they much hairier than that, but he's shaved.
You know, he looks like he's ready for a date, you know?
Steve is looking clean. I feel like Steve is a respectable member of the animal kingdom. Right here with the brown ale. Brown ale's a criminally underrated.
He is.
I do like a lot that people were asking for this. Like, I feel like brown ales, like, excuse me, when it's not super common that people are, excuse me, so much fire beer, that they're like brown ales are few and far between. Are they super common that you've seen around?
No.
Like, at least in, no, okay, they're not, right? Whenever you see a brown ale, you're like, yo, I'm here for this.
Yeah, no, we get a lot of people come in specifically for this brown ale, and here's the cool thing. I mean, I know we're in 2026 now, but at the Pacifico in Mexico, it's an international beer competition that Hideki was familiar with. That we entered this in. And this was back in May, I think, May or June of last year. So all entries from the U.S. had to be shipped to a brewery in San Diego, and then the people from Mexico drove up in a refrigerated truck and brought them down. And so basically the competition was open to South America, Central America, and North America, including U.S. and Canada. We took a gold medal with this down in Mexico, so it was funny watching them reveal the winners, basically like a YouTube video. And of course,
shaved beaver.
Well, no, we don't put the name. We just, we keep it generic, just the style when we enter the competitions.
Okay.
So they were just like Soulmate Brewing, English Brown Ale, gold medal, and people that were applauding, but like not as much as the people who were there. So it's kind of funny to see them reveal that we took a gold medal from Vermont. So fast forward a few months, and Hideki enters this beer into the U.S. Open Beer Competition. And we took a bronze medal, which was nice. So then fast forward in November, he enters the beer, different batch, but same beer. He enters that into the Denver International Beer Competition, and we got a silver. So all of last year, we took home 3 different medals from 3 different competitions for this. It was pretty remarkable. We had 3 medals in 1 year for the same beer.
Which is pretty wild. 3 in 1 year is pretty insane, particularly for a brown ale. So overall, though, this is like winning for brown ales obviously is pretty wild. But generally speaking, like it moves and people are after it and people ask for it. It's just because brown ales were a big part. I started this beer stupid photo thing in January 2011, so it's 15 years now, and brown ales were a thing back then, but like it just like slowly over time they were one of the styles that just sort of like became few and far between. So what's the consumer interest?
It moves. I mean, this particular recipe that Hideki came up with, I mean, it doesn't stick around.
I'm very happy to hear that. It's just it feels like that people there's like is it a tap room thing or a can thing more? Would you say like as in draft
Both.
or can? Both.
We do both. Oh yeah. Equal.
Like relatively equal. Okay.
Mhm.
Because there's some we're talking about amber ales before, and a number of breweries have said that they have dedicated consumers that want that amber ale. They just like they come in, they want that fucking amber ale, and the brown ale would probably almost be like the next best thing. But there's a dedicated bunch of consumers that they're relatively they're similar, sort of like older gentlemen typically
Mhm.
that enjoy older than you and I. That tend to like these beers, and they really go hard with them, and they stick to them aggressively, and they come in. If it's not there, they're not going to be happy about it. So I was just curious if the brown ale, because it's people probably would say it more for amber, but I kind of think the brown ale kind of pops into that like category because it's
I mean, and we have on draft at the brewery our Belgian Dubel. We make a Weissenbach, so I mean we have a good concentration, of. So on our menu you'll see the IPAs, hoppy, light and crisp, reds, browns, and darks, and I mean we have a pretty good page dedicated to the browns and the stouts and porters and stuff like that.
hell yeah.
No, it is nice, and a lot of compliments. It's funny, when people come in to get the order flights, and you'll see like the parties like broken up, like, they'll give me the flight cards, and I'm like, all right, punching in the computer, and then I'll go make them up, and it's like, all right, here's this tray, it's all like light, and this one's like pretty much all black and brown. It's like,
People have a flavor profile.
Divided families. It's like Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, divided.
Oh fuck! Is that a thing for Vermont? As in, like, you don't know who to go for because there's like nobody in between.
Well, yeah, I mean, our professional sports team is their fermented beverages. We're the fermented beverage league here. So.
Very different. I know we're playing around, like, because we're so close to Buffalo here. Everybody that we know from Buffalo to Syracuse probably is like aggressively Buffalo Bills fans. Like, excuse me, even in Canada, the only team that I would see here for the most part would be Buffalo Bills. And then you got the Patriots side because you got Vermont, I guess Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Maine, blah 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 blah, all that. Like, so Vermont's kind of in the middle. Is Vermont it intended? I know you're not from there, but like intended to be included in the New England Patriots kind of world versus the Buffalo Bills world. But then there's people who probably might live in Burlington and were just like, fuck that, I'm a Bills person. Never thought about that.
So I was up here when the Giants played the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I mean, I played them twice and beat them. I was surprised at the number of Giants fans that were here. I mean, there was definitely more Patriots fans than Giants fans, but I started, as I got to learn, the community that I moved to from Florida, the Giants used to do their summer training here. And apparently when they did that, and they obviously left before I moved here because they definitely weren't here after, but they were very integral parts of the community and got involved with the community. So they gained a lot of fans. But, I'm guessing that's got to be a couple of decades back. And it just stuck.
Okay. So there's a lot of Giants fans in Vermont for that reason. Okay. But overall, is it like relative from like qualitatively speaking, is it sort of split-ish, or do you see many Bills fans? Are they few and far between? Is it more Patriots, or is it? I never thought about that until now because the New England Patriots is such a vague fucking thing. I know they're based out of Boston or whatever, but like it's supposed to represent all of these like 4 or 5 states that have their own identities and such.
It's a mix. There's definitely a lot of Patriots fans here, but
interesting.
We get a lot of visitors from Philadelphia, Pittsburgh.
Okay. Go Birds.
So, yeah, you get Steelers, you get Birds, you get Jets, not as many people admitting the Jets, but hey, I'm a Giants fan and they've sucked for 2 decades. So
no, not a Dolphins.
no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't
No?
do it.
Why
Well,
not?
I mean, so I moved. Okay, I moved to Florida. I was 15 from Jersey, so I grew up watching the Giants.
Oh, okay. So Jersey, then Florida, then that. Okay, that makes more sense.
And then here.
Okay, so you're more sort of like a New England Northeast guy than a Southeast guy.
I will say though, I do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, any stadium that has a
Shouts the Bucks.
pirate ship where they fire cannons when they score. I mean, come on.
How can you go wrong?
I mean, I'm a Navy guy, so I mean, they have a ship.
Yeah, I mean I always forget about Tampa Bay Bucks. Yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, I don't really care about sports if I'm honest, but I know the general gist of it. I just don't care. Okay, interesting. I just find it interesting because it's like in Ontario, in Quebec, I didn't see it too much, but in Ontario, they love the Bill. And here in Hamilton, because we're so close to the border, I'm seeing like they love like the dude who owns the store that I go to here the most, Chris. Shouts to Chris. He gets all the if there's any Thin Man. Do you remember Thin Man from Buffalo? There was a brewery. So they used to do this beer called like the fuck was it called? Buffalo Pills, I think.
Oh,
so
no,
then they get it made out here to be distributed out here, which is kind of what you were alluding to earlier with that home and away collab type of thing. So they would get it made out here, and every time I see him, he's wearing some sort of Buffalo Bills gear. I'm like,
that's
all
awesome.
right, bro. All right, respect. Like people, and they go to the Buffalo games because it's the closest thing from Toronto to the States. Is they go to the games and all that stuff.
And we like the Montreal Canadiens for hockey, because it's right here too. I mean, we love going to Montreal, so we definitely support the Montreal Canadiens as far as hockey, 100%. There's a lot of people that are Rangers fans here, and because you're close to New York.
So it's just New York Rangers. That's the only other team. There's no other. There's no Boston. Oh, Bruins.
Yeah, the Boston Bruins. Yeah,
Montreal. What I learned living in Montreal for 10 years is they fucking hate the Bruins. If you wore a Boston Bruins, I think even worse than wearing the Toronto Maple Leafs jersey in Montreal, you wore a Boston Bruins. It's over. Like you go
slashing your tires.
Oh yeah, maybe worse. Yeah, that's what I understand. I didn't participate in any of that, so I'm just like, all right, I understand. Okay, you guys.
No. Like I said, my wife and I, so we like going to Montreal. So the Canadiens for the hockey, the Rogers Cup for the tennis. I mean,
I like that.
Then of course, we have to go to every place that has poutine. So I bring extra. What's that?
I was gonna bring extra big clothes.
Yeah, because I mean, if I'm gonna have fries and gravy and cheese curds, I can't be walking around too tight. I gotta loosen up.
You gotta let that baggy hoodie. What's your favorite poutine place in Montreal?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
You know what? While you're thinking about it,
I didn't know there was gonna be a quiz.
Oh, I didn't think about it either. One that I used to love was Poutine. Do you remember Poutineville?
No.
So they used to have, they called patate crassée, which was like little potatoes fried and then squished. They were squished and then fried, and then you would add the custom things to it. It was the best. Oh god, it was good. Fuck, it was fattening, but it was beautiful because it was like you could customize the kind of gravy, all of the toppings, but it wasn't just fries. It was squished potatoes, so it was
like tater tot squished.
No, I think like mini potato. Like there's mini potatoes, not even tater tots. Like, mini potatoes, like probably boiled,
like the new potato. Yeah, right.
Correct. Squished, fried, so they're crispy, and then you add all of the toppings and gravy and cheese and on top of that. That shit was fucking bonkers because it was down the road from us. I used to live just by Park Avenue, by Montreal, like Montreal and Park. Mm-hmm. So they had there was one on Park there. And they would have you go in. You could order online, but you go in there. They had a little thing. You'd have a sheet with a pencil, and you have to tick all the fucking ingredients off on a pencil and stuff. It was so sick.
So it's almost like going to one of the sushi places. Check you
Yes, the all-you-can-eat sushi ones. Yes, great.
Except with poutine. No kidding.
Except way more fattening than some glorious salmon and rice.
Some white tail or yellow tail, and just give me some hamachi and.
Right.
Some white tuna. Oh my gosh, I like a good white tuna.
God, don't get me started. Jesus Christ. Oh, Montreal. Okay, next one.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, because it's almost bedtime. So, I mean,
It is. Let's
when you,
keep it moving. You've been great with keeping us moving tonight. Thank you.
no, so when you're going to go to bed, I mean, sometimes you may have these next to your bed. We're
Often.
gonna jump into the oatmeal stout.
Oh, this is the only one I've had tonight. I've actually had this. This was one of the ones that Skylar brought back for me.
That's
And
two nice stands.
Honestly, the name, fantastic. Fantastic.
I mean, as you can see below it, sometimes one isn't enough.
One is never enough, so it is never enough.
This is another one of those beers where I say, if you have it in your fridge, take it out, let it sit out for a half hour at least before you open it. Let it get to a much nicer temperature, appropriate for this style of beer.
And this is a 5.5% oatmeal stout. Nice and chill. Oof, look at that head. This beer was one of obviously the black IPA was amazing, but I love this beer. I think there's something special about low ABV stouts. Personally, I'm just an incredibly large fan of them, and that's sort of one of the things that sold me. And I was really happy that this was what I got to try from you guys.
I'd offer you a one night stand, but it's much nicer to have a 2 night stand. So I'm glad we had that available for you.
Oh, you know what? You're a gentleman. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I want to make sure you have plenty of places next to your bed to rest what you need to rest.
And this, I rest a lot of shit, dude. I'm a big rester, as they say.
And if you come to the brewery, you probably see some. I'd imagine there's got to be some pictures online. I know I've posted them, but I like bacon, I like chocolate, and I like stouts. So I did a chocolate covered bacon that I serve with this, and I call it the bacon teeny.
And bacon teeny, I'm here for it.
Oh, it's so good.
I also saw real quick as I went, I've already had this. I've had this twice. Oh my gosh, I love this. Cheers, legend. I'm just going to check into this, but there was a nitro version of this that won. It looked like it won gold.
We took a silver.
Let me. I swear I just saw a gold. Let me look. We are beer number 8, so I could be aggressively wrong.
It's definitely worth gold. It might have taken gold this year.
I think it'd be rude if it wasn't. Let me see. Hang on.
I know we've taken 2 silvers. Seriously, I mean, I know I'm old. Over 50. Oh my gosh, so I'm an antique at this point by certain standards. It could have a gold.
2 night stand nitro is. Let me just make sure this is not bronze.
No, we didn't get a bronze. I know we got 2 silvers with it.
Is that gold or bronze? Excuse my. Is that supposed to be gold or bronze? That's gold, no?
That looks gold. Is that an untapped rating?
Yeah, no, that's not a rating. That is a the award that they give when. So basically, hang on. Wait. Whenever a beer is is see that little thing next to it? That means that it has won some sort of untapped award. Then you go here and it's got that there. See that there?
Nice.
So 2020.
That.
I think that's gold, dude. The number one oatmeal stout in Vermont. Number 1 oatmeal stout in Vermont is the not specifically this one. It's actually the nitro version, but it's the same beer nitro version, no?
Yeah. So funny thing about nitro. So we offer this on nitro at the brewery. And I had the great idea of I want to make nitro in the can. So not knowing the price and trying to get prices, we thought we had prices from our canning company because we have our own small canning unit, but for larger production, we bring in the mobile canners.
Understood.
And they have the capability to do a nitro. So in the price they quoted us, I thought that meant they bring the nitrogen. So the night before they come in, they're like, no, we don't bring the nitrogen. I'm like,
you're like, well, where do I get that?
I'm like, and I used to make liquid nitrogen in the Navy, so I just don't have that equipment anymore. So I reach out to a few places. They suggest, and they're like, oh yeah, we can bring you a doer of nitrogen tomorrow. I'm like, perfect, bring it. Well, I didn't see the invoice till after they left, and we only planned on canning like 4 barrels worth. The rest were going into kegs. I will say it's the most expensive beer we ever canned because it was about $900 for the delivery and the doer of nitrogen. That made 40 cases.
Oh shit.
And then Ironheart's price to do the nitro dosing, because they have a separate piece of equipment that comes in. So they drew that. So that's like a few extra cents, like 4 or 5 cents. So by the time I got done with the nitrogen cost, the extra cost added to the nitrogen dose per can. Oh my gosh. I was like, we sold it for the regular price and we just took that one. That was a rookie mistake. I said, next time we do nitrogen in a can, we have to do at least 30 barrels minimum or we're not doing it.
Yeah, that would not make sense.
Oh my gosh.
This got voted the gold off of draft then.
That's awesome. I mean,
is that correct?
And that's what I offer with the bacon teeny is I do the draft in like a nice Cosmo glass and I put the drizzled chocolate covered drizzled bacon right on it with it. And you take a bite and a sip. It's so good.
Oh, okay. Hold up. Let me see if I can find a picture of that because I imagine if people are posting this. So you're saying it's got a piece of bacon on the... There it is.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So hold up. That's a piece of bacon wrapped in what?
That's chocolate that we melt and drizzle on the bacon.
Get fucked. That's incredible. And that's a little bacon teeny nitro.
Yeah. And...
oh my God, it is, dude. And then you put that on top, and this is a nitro oatmeal stout at 5.5%. Oh, hey, it's actually less on nitro. I think it was 4.5. 4.5 according to this. But yeah, the number one oatmeal stout in Vermont.
That's awesome.
Dude, this is a little crazy, eh? Like, I don't know if I've experienced this as had like a pod with this many awards on the beers themselves. And then I think the awards are one level of respect and admiration and sort of quality of the beers, and then the Vermont, so that's sort of almost like an industry BJCP, like, because they're pretty much judged on, you know, beer judge certification type of stuff as far as like, are they true to style and are there no flaws in the beer and da right, which is extremely important and very valuable for all these products. And then when it comes to Untappd, that's just the general consensus of the uneducated community who just likes the beer.
Which is, like I said, you get the pendulum to go both directions with Untappd. You know, I mean, the trade palette is on there, and then just your craft beer lover just posting what they feel, and you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with any of this shit. So I just want to just confirm again. I just think that's really meaningful. It's the just an oatmeal stout. It's got nothing to do with the nitro. So the nitro version has outdone the original version to the point to get number one in Vermont. And that is, we've had the silver, and I think we might have even had a bronze tonight for other ones. I don't know. I just like, I imagine you seem very like chill about it. Like, I guess it's not like it's just like so cool. Particularly, I would imagine if I was you and went through all the things that you went through to get this beautiful company up and running, and you own the building, which is, we didn't even really double tap into, that is just like almost every brewery that is closing right now, at least up here, it's because of some sort of landlord issue, which you will not deal with. And I think that is genuinely beautiful. The fact that there's so many beers that are highly regarded, and for a brewery that's been around 2.5 years, that I would imagine has not gotten its due respect across the board. And I really hope that this podcast helps project that aggressively. This shit is fucking incredible, dude. Like, everything we've had, we've still got more.
Yeah, we have one more.
But I don't know. How do you feel about all of it? Is it kind of like, because you're very, like, clearly you're a humble dude. I know that you're obviously the credit of the product is to Hideki and his incredible dedication to it, and absolutely that he deserves all of that. And then yourself and Carol that are just taking the brewery and giving that personalized experience to people, to the point where you've got 555 Google reviews out of 5 out of 5, which is insane. I've never seen anything like it. My barber was basically that, and he had like half as many. And it was when I first went there, I was like, dude, this is crazy. You had 200 and something. It was 208 or something like that. Google reviews, and he's been my barber since I lived here, and he's been amazing. Like, reviews are so important. So it just really shows it across the board, from Untapped to Google reviews to BJCP judges in the Denver craft beer competition. That are just like, Soulmate's the shit. It's it's wonderful to me. This is incredible. Like, how do you have any sort of thoughts or that, or is this everything that you intended it to be, or is this like is this trippy for you, where you're just like, whoa, I didn't expect all of this from all of these angles of people outside of yourself and Carol and Hideki as well, that are just like giving you the credit that you deserve? Like, does it, how do you feel?
It, as you said, it's humbling. This was our vision, and to see the vision that we brought to life, have the appreciation of the people who meet us, and they give that type of feedback so other people want to meet us. I mean, it's like a fairy tale story written, because it really, everything about the brew is built on me meeting Carol, and it's a love story. So, I mean, people connect with the story of our personal relationships, and then how that translates into the beer. And when I was interviewing brewers, there was many frustrating moments during the interview process, because I don't want anybody with an ego. I mean, this isn't about egos. This is about the desire to put out an amazing product and an amazing experience at the same time. And it's all about the people who walk through the door, because, as you pointed out, and people know, like, Vermont has more breweries per capita. I mean, yeah, the volume's not going to be there like a state in New York or or California or Texas, type of thing. But like, for our population to have so many breweries, whether you live here or you're a tourist visiting from another state or another country, you have options. And so, for somebody to voluntarily drive their vehicle to our town and park and get out of their car and walk into our brewery and open that door, we are grateful for everyone who does that, because nobody's sticking a gun to their head saying, you have to go here. You are coming here to give us an opportunity to showcase what we can do. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome, because I am behind the bar most of the days. And I come home every day and tell Carol, like, oh my gosh, I met this couple here, and I met this couple here, and this guy came in, and this woman came in and sat at the bar. And, we get to meet so many amazing people. And going through the interview process and meeting Hideki, and he was just like, I just like making beer. And, to find him, because, I interviewed a lot of people like, oh, I make the best beer. And I'm looking at the resume, and I'm holding up the resume, and I'm like, you've worked for 20 breweries in 30 months. Why don't you have your own brewery? And, every one, I'm like, I make the best sour, I make the best IPA, I make the best this, I make the best that. And I'm like, why are you in different towns like every 2 months? I'm like, we're looking for stability. And if your beer is really that good, why don't you have your own brewery, or a backer or something to do that? And, when we met Hideki, there were many days I'm like, we will find the right person. We will find the right person. Humble, passionate, the way, we are about, we're passionate about the people we meet, and we want our brewer to be passionate about the beer he makes or she makes, and, so it is really cool to have met this guy, and, just taking a chance, not even being able to taste his beer. He's like, you're going to fly to Mexico, you can taste my beer all day long. I can't ship it to you. And the experience and the journey and everything that we had, I was like, let's get that lawyer involved, and let's get this, process going for a visa. And, what's the what's that movie with Tom Cruise where he's like, well, he's using a little profanity in it, but what the bleep, I'm like, let's just go for it, right? And we did, and I mean, it's just a beautiful story, and so yes, like you point out, like I mean, I didn't even know about all the different awards and the ratings on Untapped, but it's humbling and truly grateful is really the best way to say it about the experiences we open up our doors.
I love it, bro. I think it's really cool, and it's even cooler that you didn't know about those other things, because I feel like it's come at us from every angle tonight, where we've had all the different sort of accolades for a brewery that I only discovered like 2 months ago. And I'm extraordinarily impressed. Just everything that we've had tonight, and then just it all makes sense now. Chatting with you for these last few hours, to just like get the point of it across, and just seems like you've. I think it's really, as a business owner, the way that you describe that you've treated Hideki and Harumi, that they obviously are shareholders in the company, which I think is so important to have the people who make the product to be a shareholder or partner in the company. Because if they leave, then the company's fucked. So the people who are making it just need to be a part of it and have a piece. And I just think that's so cool. And that you and Carol are so liberal with, like, we just want this to continue on, whether we're here or not. And being so humble and so cool with the crowdfunding thing as well, and then making world-class beers that are being recognized internationally, because Untapped is international, but also nationally for a very highly regarded festival. That I don't know, it's really cool, and it's kind of putting all the pieces together, and I feel like you're batting above your level that people. How do I say it? Your shit is more fire than people understand that it is. That's what it is. And I feel like people need to know what the fuck's up. That's what it is.
Well, like I said, when you asked us if we would be interested in speaking with you on this, I mean, that we're grateful for that opportunity. I mean, we are definitely size-wise a small fish in a big pond, but we'd like to be one of those fish that keeps growing and growing and growing. And then, hey, we need to get a bigger pond. So, just treating people, with the type of respect and appreciation, and just, I think that, will get us to where we'd like to be. And then not changing from that, I mean, even when we get to that point, I just tell everyone, like, you're going to outgrow the space. When people come in, you're going to outgrow the space. I'm like, well, we're not there yet. I can tell you right now, because I see the bills and I see the money, and that's the nature of a new business. I mean, you expect, the first 5 years, you're not going to make anything, it's just the nature of it. So, I mean, we knew that going into it, not naive. And, that's just the way businesses work. But, even when we get to that point to expand, cannot ever step away from what got you there. I mean, you have to keep that. I mean, we go to some of these larger breweries because you hear great things about it. And it's almost like going to Disney, it's like you're a number. And, as I say, I'm like, beer is social. Wine is social. You shouldn't be like, ding, ding, next, ding, ding, next, and I'm like, that connection with people, and I don't know, we can't get away from this. It all started with a relationship. It's got to stay a relationship, and it should be a relationship, because it is a relationship.
Yeah, it really is. Well said. That's a great point. How do you feel about we take a quick bathroom break, and then we'll bring it home with the big stout?
Oh my gosh, let's do it.
I'm scared. Let's go. We'll be right back. And we are back. And Johnny, we're bringing
Johnny.
You know what? As I said that, I looked at the can here, and I saw the top of it.
Yes. So
Here we go. The final beer of the evening, the Imperial Stout. Mistakes, but also sort of point at the beer goggles there. It's
beer
pretty cool.
goggles. Yes, yes, yes. So there's a lot of symbology in this. So, I mean, a lot of people have woken up
Talk
in
us
the
through it.
morning, uh,
Yep.
having their beer goggles on and, you know, and calling, I made a mistake last night. So I'm like, I had to come up with a beer. And so, you know, I said to my artist, I'm like, she's got to be a little sexy, a little naughty, a little trashy. And, you know, let's put her in like a form of a steak. And then the can with the flames. Um,
Oh yeah.
now beer.
Flames.
Oh yeah, because you know, hot sizzling mess, right?
Of course. For a and this is by the way a 9.7% Imperial Stout. Oof, look at the head, mate. Fuck. Look at that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Um,
Oh.
so when I registered with the TTB, Soulmate Brewing, I also included beer goggles into it because, you know, like I said, I have 1,000 names. So if there's any breweries out there need inspiration, I'm happy to consult because I go into a lot of breweries like, how do you come up with your names? I'm like, this is what I do. So I will never, ever, if I were to live to be 500, use all the names. So I'm happy to help other fellow breweries out with some cool stuff. But
You registered trademark for beer goggles.
yes.
You own the register. Now, is that because I own multiple trademark, like BAOS podcast is a trademark. We have a saying, which is really funny to me, called "Get it in ya," which I've trademarked, which just means just drink the beer. In
Yeah.
Australia, I can't believe I own the trademark for that. It's just like saying like drink the beer, and I fucking own the trademark for it. It's absolutely insane to me that I own the trademark for that. So
Yeah,
beer goggles, that's crazy.
I have 5 trademarks. We had one rejected by the trademark examiner over the past 5 or 6 years. Cheers. Oh.
What? Why did they reject it? By the way, cheers.
So cheers, brother. It was a ski related thing.
Okay.
Oof. Yeah, this is tasty.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
This is night juice now.
Oh, this is like we are going to bed.
Yeah. Except we're not waking up with a mistake next to us.
Is it called Mistakes or is it called Beer Goggles?
Well, Beer Goggles is the brewing company.
Oh.
And Mistakes is the beer.
So hang on, it's not under Soulmate.
No, brewed by Soulmate.
Oh no shit. Hold up. Okay, so what's going on with that? Okay.
Excuse me.
Beer Goggles Miss. Is it on Untapped? I don't think it's on Untapped.
Not yet. We just released this one.
Oh, that's special. Oh, whoa. Okay, I didn't know that. That's even cooler. So explain just explain some more. So this was it was only packaged 3rd of December.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Canadian dates on here. Okay, I see you. So you've registered a Beer Goggles brewing company and then put it under that. How does that work?
So yeah, I checked with the TTB when we were filling out our license, and I said, I have a couple of different things I want to do marketing wise. Can I do it all under one license? And they said yes. So basically, Soulmate's the parent, and Beer Goggles is a brand, but under the same license. So, it's just one of these things where Soulmate had more, obviously personal connections, but just being the jokester and comedian, he said stand up. I was like, Beer Goggles is too freaking good to not go with this. So let's go with it. And so we did. So we made a couple of small things that we shared, but we waited for the right moment to release it. And I wanted the right style of beer to be part of it. Usually you think of Beer Goggles because you had a little wee bit much that night and you did something you may or may not regret in the morning, right? So I was like, he's talking about a 9.7, 9.8, 10%, brewski. Well, things could happen. So, I said, so when Hideki said he was making, an imperial stout, we talked about it. I said, oh, that's going under beer goggles.
So it's almost like a sub brand.
Mhm.
It's like a sub brand.
In a way, I mean, it could be standalone. It could, there's many ways that we can go with it, but all of it, at the end of the day, will all be coming, through Soulmate, is the way we have this set up right now.
So there's no separate Instagram or anything like that for.
I did set it up, but I haven't like gone with it yet because I do want to have it, somebody can follow. I just haven't done it yet. But this is my goal, like sometime this week, to put out the first post with it.
That's fascinating. Okay, so it's like a sub brand. Okay, I understand. Like a sub brand, brewed by the Soulmate, and is it going to be higher ABV stuff?
Not necessarily. I can't reveal. Obviously, as you mentioned, there's other breweries that listen to everything, on here too. So I have some fun plans and some fun marketing that I'm going to come out with this. But this is so not necessarily all high ABV, but I felt this one deserved to go under this brand.
Understood. Okay. All right. So there's more to come from that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
really fun as well. I feel like you're thinking outside of the box more than in most brewers.
That's all I do.
Yeah. That's your vibe.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Most breweries are started by brewers, and it's understandable, right? I mean, whether you're starting off in your home or your barn or your basement or whatever, and you come up with a recipe that people like, and next thing you know, you're people like, hey, can you can that or bottle or whatever? And it gets you to a point where you're like, hey, we got a viable business here. So let's open up a brewery, And I came at this having 20 years of marketing, not marketing online, social media, all that stuff, just a different kind of marketing and how you connect people. I was consulting for other companies and they're like, all right, how do we get our product from here to here? And, I would advise them on a lot of things. And I said, you know what? I'm done doing this for other companies. Let me do something, that I think would be awesome within this industry. And that's what brought us to, Soulmate and, bringing this stuff up. So, yeah, I mean, everything I do is from the fun aspects of marketing and just, the creativity that can come from that. Not for brewing. That's why we wanted to find somebody who knows what he's doing with the liquid. And I will focus on the experience.
That makes sense. So at this particular point, because it's so early, there's not much else you could reveal about what's to come from the Beer Goggles brand, sub-brand?
Not yet.
Okay. So we're early days.
Stay tuned.
We do this podcast in like a year, and we're going to have probably a lot more to talk about, which I love it. Dude, this is amazing. This is like, so it's 9.7% non-barrel aged. It's got like, it's big and powerful, punchy, chocolate espresso, cold brew, a little bit of like aniseed, licorice type of vibes in there. Intense but very, very crushable. I like it a lot. I think this is fantastic, and it's on brand with everything else we've had tonight. But I also want, like, without seeing the way that you're talking about this sub brand. Okay, I see where this could go. That's fun.
That's what we're all about. I mean, it's all about laughing, smiling, and having memorable experiences. Whether you come visit us as a single person, you come in with your significant other or a group of friends. We're all about having an amazing time together.
I love it, man. It's beautiful. I feel like we went through 9 beers tonight, which is, this is on the higher end of things that we would typically do here, and I'm here for it. I feel like I really understand what you're doing at a much deeper level than I did prior, coming into this, because I'd had 2 different beers, and they were all of the darker, the oatmeal stout and the hops on a motorcycle, the black IPA, which were already exceptional, which was enough for me to be like, dude, are you down? And you were so gracious and willing to spend the time. And now I feel like I get it, man. I feel like you've got an exceptional brewer who can do everything at like a high tier, which I think is what most breweries would be gagging for. Wouldn't that be really what you want, to be able to, from a Hefeweizen to an Imperial Stout, like, and everything in between, like, to be able to do it at a level that's like, oh, this is delightful. Not just like, oh, it's cool. It's fucking awesome. Like, everything is like awesome. And I'm so deeply impressed, man. And you're such a legend. You're so kind and thoughtful. And I love the love that you have for all of this, and for Carol, and for what you've done together, and from, being able to create this in Vermont in such a competitive beer environment as well. When you weren't the brewer, and you're able to bring in someone who can compete with, it's got to be intimidating for Hideki to want to rock, to be the guy behind the beers in a brewery in Vermont, like the beer state.
Yeah, it's funny. I would say about half of our investors came in because I'm not the brewer. They came in. They came in and said, we've seen breweries come and go, and these are their quotes to me. We've seen breweries come and go because the brewer made an exceptional beer but didn't know how to run the business.
You're a businessman.
And they're like, I want to invest in this because I see your vision, and you're not a brewer. You're coming at it from the marketing and business and connection with people. And you're allowing the guy who knows how to make the liquid do that. And I said, well, the president and CEO of Boeing doesn't fly the planes, and the CEO of Pfizer doesn't make the drugs. They surround themselves with the right team. They have a board of directors. They have the experts in their specific fields, and with their knowledge, that make that unit work. The same thing with me, after serving 6 years in the Navy, my specific role was cryogenics. So I made liquid oxygen, liquid nitrogen, aviation breathing oxygen for pilots. I was on an aircraft carrier, and, we all did our part. Those planes flew because each one of us in our different divisions worked specifically for what we did, but together, collectively, that aircraft carrier left that port and did its job and returned back to that port. So a lot of valuable knowledge gained, in my early 20s, serving 6 years, with people. And, that's the other thing, I appreciate everybody from every culture, because I lived in Japan for 2 years, and I lived in Italy for 2.5 years. And, and then being on a ship, one of the unique things, and why I think we have a really good way of connecting with people is, you've probably worked for other companies, or you've had people work for you. You go through that interview process, and, and when you're in the military, you get orders. Here's the base or ship you're going to. You don't get a choice. Here's where you're going. And when you get there, here's the workshop you're going to. You don't get to choose your boss. You don't get to choose the people that work for you. So you need to figure out how to get along with people who come from so many different backgrounds and become a team, and appreciate everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and play to everyone's strengths and build people up. It's all team building. And, so it's like the same thing with here, we're one big craft beer, loving community, and, supporting each other, and just absolutely love it. And just couldn't be happier as far as like meeting the type of brewer that we met, and and him having the passion for the way Carol and I have the passion for meeting people. So yeah, definitely, not religious, but yeah, I'd say we're blessed in how this is coming together.
Great way to put it. I am also not religious, but I do think blessed is a fantastic word for. It's like the universe has put everything in place for you to do what you need to do. And you're
and plenty of hurdles too.
Oh, definitely doesn't sound like it was easy by any stretch of the imagination. But it's like it's put you in the place where you need to be with the right people over time to get the message out. And one of the things that I love about all the things you've said tonight, Jonathan, was that your aspirations. Like, I find that 10 and a half years, almost actually in April, I guess it's 11 years of doing this. All the brewers, breweries, owners, whatever, everybody has different aspirations. It's really, there's nothing super consistent. You could probably put it into buckets, I guess, at the end of the day. But I like that you have grander plans for the brand, and you have a understanding of places outside of your local market, such as Canada, and things like that, where you're able to be like, cool, man, I already got plug. I know Drew and them at Kanawaki, and I know Elwar and them at Dunham, and you want to meet more people. That, once again, we can talk off air. I will connect you with anybody that I know anywhere. I would be so happy to connect you with anybody. I think that's sick, because that shows like the quality of the beer. If anybody in any of these regions try the beer, they're gonna be like, oh, this is sick. What's the deal? Who are these guys? What's up? Why don't I know about them? And be down for the collabs and to do it. And I think that's really exciting, even if it's just within this little northeast little quadrant up here. And then you mentioned, you've got connects in the Carolinas and Virginia and Florida and which is sick too. And just to be doing all these collabs, go to these festivals, pour at the festivals. If I look at the breweries that are slaying, that when I, as a Canadian, go to Florida and people are bringing up specific breweries to me, they're the ones that are traveling to Europe, around the US, to festivals, popping up, shaking hands, pouring beers,
Well, that's it. I mean, go circling back, it's a social environment. I mean, people love the brewery feel. They love the brew fest feels, wherever they're at, so it doesn't matter if it's a small little nano fest thing, or if it's, or if it's the Vermont Brewers Fest and there's, 80 to 100 vendors, breweries there. It's a great environment.
It's a great way to get your name out there. But I feel like whichever way you go about it, you're clearly thoughtful, methodical about the way that you're doing it. And everything you're doing to grow the brand obviously is working so far. So it's, I'm genuinely, we should do this annually.
I'm down.
Dude, I'm excited to see where you take it. Obviously, I'm one of the biggest. I fucking love Vermont. I have a Vermont period, but Vermont craft beer is just truly special, and I just love that you've been able to create. And thank you once again for telling this story in such great detail here tonight, just to express how your approach is potentially different from everything else, and the connection that you have with the community, from your investors to the drinkers to just every, I imagine you're probably close with the other vendors and other vendors is a bad word, just businesses in the city of Morris. Is it Morrisville?
It's Morrisville. Yeah, it's
Morrisville. Yeah, okay, Morrisville. Yeah,
little tiny town.
Which is what so Vermont is all about, though.
It is.
That's the experience of Vermont. Is like there's so many incredible tiny towns with breweries that are just like, are you serious? How are they that good in this tiny little town? And that's really what my experience of Vermont is. So, dude, it's so cool to see all of this, and congrats on everything to you and to Carol, Hideki, and Halumi, the whole team. Just slaying it. It's really wonderful to see. I'm very glad that Skylar put you on my radar and that we're able to have the conversation, man. Because
please say hi for me. It's and hopefully, like I said, I don't know when you're next time down, and you said you're in New York, right?
We go to New York quite a lot. So New York, west of New York. So like Buffalo is right over the border. So we do that monthly.
Are you ever near the Finger Lakes region?
Yeah. Occasionally, yeah.
So Ithaca and all that.
How long is it from Finger Lakes?
So maybe we can. We could probably be in Ithaca in about 6 hours.
Okay, 6 hours is kind of okay. So it's kind of fun because Ithaca is like the south of, I think, of the third lake across, which is not Seneca, the one after Seneca. What's the fucking lake called?
Oh.
It's the bottom of the third one, because there's Cuca, Seneca, and then the other one.
Is Cayuga? Is that the falls? Is it?
Shit,
Can you
maybe it
admit it?
is. No, maybe it is.
Been a little while since I've been there. Anyway, I mean, we got to connect.
Dude,
We got to find a time.
Yeah, let's like I want to get back to Vermont in no, you're right, Cayuga. Fuck you're exactly it's exactly what it is. I think it's down the bottom. 6 hours is mad far. That's probably like 4 hours for us from here. But
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. But I need to get back to Vermont. We went once. Shit, only once since I left. That is obscene and embarrassing. It's yeah, I gotta get back. We've talked about it so much, so like I'm hoping that really like this summer we do it. But let's definitely keep in touch. We'll
Yes,
chat
sir.
after this because I want to connect you with as many people as possible. I want folks, whether it's Western New York, Ontario, Quebec, any of the places to know about what you're doing and to sort of continue that collaboration, because I think that's the future of beer is really like, and you have that ethos already because you're already connected with a bunch of folks in Quebec and Mill River and the folks in Vermont there, and just to keep bringing that that collaboration ethos outside of the brewery and to really bring that brand to more and more people. So I think it's wonderful, man. To just congrats on everything you guys are doing. I think it's incredible.
Thank you so
excited
much.
for where you're going to take it.
No, thank you for having me on your show. Really appreciate you introducing us to all your followers.
It's a pleasure. See, look, almost 4 hours, 3 hours and 15 minutes. See, I told you, flyers, dude. You talk shit, and here we are.
I'm going to turn into a pumpkin.
I know, right? It's actually not that bad. It's only after midnight. So look, stick around. Afterwards, we'll finish up off air. But Jonathan, dude, thank you so much again for taking the time for sharing the beers and for sharing the story with us. I genuinely appreciate it. Where can everybody find Soulmate Brewing online and in real life?
No, well, I appreciate it. So our website, soulmatebrewing.com. And for anybody listening who is interested in the investing and having a piece of Soulmate, joining us, there is a tab on there for our investors, so you can go to that.
Yes.
And then, coming to visit us, we're at 74 Portland Street in Morrisville. So we are one town north of Stowe. So I know Stowe's a big tourist area. We live there. That's where our home is. Love it. Love the whole area. But we are literally 18-minute drive north out of Stowe and right in the historic downtown village of Morrisville.
I love it. People need to get down there. If you're in Vermont, everyone's ready to drive, so no one's scared of a drive. 18 minutes, nothing.
Oh, I know. It's like, you got to go here. That's 40 minutes. You got to go here. That's 50 minutes. But,
everything.
And as I said, we did get our license for distribution, so we should start slowly finding our ways back into some stores here and bars. But we still love you to come see us.
Of course. Hey, would you get in a beverage warehouse in Winooski?
Oh, yeah. So we were in distribution with Calmont.
Okay.
Didn't work out. I mean, we were in a lot of places. Yeah, it was more of let's just say we didn't see eye to eye with some of management and in our vision, and
of course,
just it happens. So we just filed all the paperwork and got our license and working on the insurances, and so beverage warehouse. I mean, there's just plenty of places.
All that stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Crossroads.
We were in over 250 locations. So we had people come to the brewery like, I don't see your beer anymore. What's going on? When are you going to get back in there? I'm like, we're working on it. Just, as my wife says, when you do a job or you start something, it's not a part-time job. It's a full-time job. So, I mean, our goal was to try and partner still with another distribution company. But at the same time, when our relationship with Calmont ended, Beer Shepherd went out of business. They sold.
Oh, and I heard about that.
Yep. So they sold quite a few breweries, did not get picked up by Farrell and Baker. And so, we just made the decision. We're like, all right, in this world, in this life, you have to do things for yourself. Nobody's just going to give you anything. You have to go out there and earn it. We met with most of the places that had our beer, including different resorts. And so we already had the relationships, and I just, I let them know what happened. And they said, just let us know when you get your license. We're here for you. So we just kept all that going. So, you'll see us rolling this out shortly.
I'd love to see it. Brother, this is amazing. Stick around afterwards. We'll finish up off air. But Jonathan, thank you again, man, for your time. Thank you for everything that you shared tonight. Make sure everyone, you go check that out. Now, if you enjoyed the episode, guys, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit that notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio. Give us 5 stars. As we talked about earlier, just like there's 5 stars on the Soulmate Brewing Google review. We don't have that, but give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It helps. It means a lot. We're starting here. We're actually recording this, and this is the first podcast of 2026 for us. I love it. It's important.
I'm your first. Woohoo!
You are the first. You popped the cherry for 2026, Johnny.
Soulmates, baby.
Let's fucking go. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, y'all.
Thanks, guys.